Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Here we are. It's the ultimate Cleveland sports show on a Wednesday, the last day before Thanksgiving. It's also sadly the 60th anniversary of JFK being assassinated. Did you guys know that? Anybody else know that?
Yes. I watched a few documentaries on it the night before.
You've seen a documentary on everything, I think.
Yeah.
What year was he assassinated?
60 years ago, which was 63.
Man,
Shout out to the grassy knoll.
I tell you what, it's a different day and age. Could you imagine like our fathers, our grandparents that was alive that watched that happen like on national TV?
Assassinations were part of.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's crazy.
What are you
Like,
talking about? It's not, I mean, somebody tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. I was alive for that. They
missed.
Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley.
Yeah.
Somebody else got it.
Not from Ohio, but lived in Ohio.
Somebody else didn't, and then
Gerald Ford, right?
Yeah.
Who got? Was it JFK's killer that got killed on TV?
Yeah,
too?
that's a whole big ball of wax. Yeah.
See, here we go.
Well, his alleged killer. Who knows what the
So
truth is?
People getting killed on national TV.
I don't believe he worked alone. I don't know what the truth is, but
more likely to happen.
Yeah.
The landing on the moon in '69, or what
do you mean? The landing on the moon happened. Only lunatics think that.
There's a lot of people who believe.
Yeah, those are lunatics. I don't listen to that.
Okay, well, see you.
I do, but I don't believe that. I forgot his name. The guy who shot Kennedy. I can't think of his name.
Oswald.
Lee Harvey. I don't believe he worked alone. I think. But I don't know what the truth is.
John Wilkes Booth.
Isn't it
Abraham Lincoln?
Yes,
Wasn't
right.
somebody on here got a book coming out that was about to talk about that? It was like some
Really?
CIA guy who was
Coming on our show.
They had teased it on our show. It was it's Jay said it. Jay was the one it's a guy who's made a book.
Yeah.
That worked for the CIA. He's gonna tell you what really happened.
Really?
That never happened.
How we gonna find out what really happened?
Wait, text Jay
60
Crawford.
years later,
Go
I
ask
don't know.
Jay.
Jay's always got a story about everything. Well, who knows? But
I wasn't here that day.
He was here that day.
Jay knows a guy who was there when Kennedy was assassinated.
Jay is well connected.
He is well connected. All right, let's well connect to sports here. We got a lot of things to get to. Deshaun Watson had his surgery yesterday. Would the Cavs be better off with Lauri Markkanen? That was something that Earl was pushing before the show. We'll maybe get to that. Maybe not. A little bit later.
Oh wow!
You wasn't here for that, huh?
No, he was not here yet.
I wasn't for that.
Earl was not pushing.
No,
that.
Earl didn't push that.
Earl was anti-pushing that. Pushing against that. A lot to get to, but we'll say hi for the first time to Mikey McNuggets. Hello, Mike.
What's up, guys? Big show. No show tomorrow.
Right.
Just a heads up. There's no show on Thanksgiving. However, we're going to tape it behind the glass tonight. That's going to air tomorrow at 11. So it'll be a tape behind the glass. You will get some new content, some brand new UCSS content. We also have an interview with Jim Treshel we taped yesterday at the Town Hall Feed the Need event. That's going to be airing tomorrow afternoon. So there will be content on the channel, even though we will not be here in person. And we're going to get into our first topic today. But first, as always, FanDuel is the place to score early this NFL season because it's America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is easy to use, and they have a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. Once again, that is FanDuel.com/UCSS. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And shout out to my guy, Matt Colker, who hit maybe the biggest parlay we've had since we asked people to send us tickets. Now, there have been a bunch of tickets that were sent to me. We'll read those in the coming days and weeks. But my guy, Matt, he does parlays every time, and he's always like, Mike, I lost this one by 2. I missed this one by 1. Well, he finally hit one. Listen to everything he bet on to happen in last night's Cavs-Sixers game, and it all hit. Embiid over 25 points. Garland over 20 points. Mobley over 15. Strus over 15. Strus over 3 made threes. Garland over 2 made threes. Garland over 6 assists. Tyrese Maxey over 20 points. Strus over 4 rebounds. Mobley over 8 rebounds. Allen over 6 rebounds. Embiid over 1 block. Mobley over 1 block. Garland over 1 steal. Strus over 4 rebounds. And the Cavs plus 7.5. He turned $20 into $1,700.
Wow.
So shout out to my
How
guy
many
Matt.
different items was that? Like 20?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. A 14-part.
40.
He threw a
That's
20.
parlays
He
are
threw a
crazy,
20
man.
on it. Oh, he balling.
That is. To throw 20 bucks.
20?
That's my guy Matt.
That's
You guys
a lot of money for a
I would
14
did
team
know
parlay,
more than
but
10
he
on
hit
that
it.
on any parlay.
20?
He put a 20 on it.
Why you act like 20 is crazy?
20 on a
Wow,
parlay?
you know,
Big, you can't hide money, boy.
G. Bush?
Woo, you can't hide
You're
no
such a high
money.
roller.
And actually,
$20
I owe Matt, real
ain't nothing,
quick, I
huh?
owe Matt an apology.
Yeah.
Matt actually sent us a video once that we played on the air.
Yeah.
And I play basketball with Matt every week. Anthony's met Matt. He watches the show.
Yeah.
And I had him in my phone. His last name, I thought, started with a K.
Yeah.
It starts with a C in real life. And he only found out that I thought his name was spelt wrong because we aired it completely wrong. So, Matt, I got your name right now.
Well,
Congratulations.
shout
on the
out
win.
Matt. That's a
Shout
good
out
win
Matt.
right there. Nice
He
job out
still
of you.
can't shoot.
You should have bet $50, you cheapskate.
If you the $20 rule is if somebody say, "Oh, let me hold this," and you give them 20, anything under 20, they don't have to pay back.
That's a rule?
I don't want no 20 back.
I don't know who G talk. I don't know what G.
You want
talk.
20 back?
I want all my chips with dip.
Dang.
What's wrong with you?
20?
I want my
And
chips
that's
with
light.
dip.
That's
What's wrong with you?
extra light. Now 50 is different.
Yeah. 50 you expect that back.
So you would throw-
50 on my table.
So if you lend a friend $20, you don't expect to get it
no.
back? Interesting. All right.
Matt just texted me. He's watching right now and
Yeah.
said, "Tell the people I can shoot. You're not just lying." Matt's an okay shooter.
Who's a
so-
better shooter, you or Matt?
Oh, me. It's not a question. You can ask Jack. Jack, our salesperson.
Are you the
plays
best
I
shooter
got a
at
hoop
these
with
basketball
McNuggets,
games?
On Tuesdays, yes. Thursdays depends on who shows up.
Do you have a sniper badge?
Can I
I have a sniper badge.
Oh.
Can I hoop with you on Tuesday? Tuesday is the pickup days.
Matt has been inviting you to come run with us. The same Matt that just won the
Yeah,
parlay.
why don't you go play, Ty? This
Any
is-
Tuesday
I live
you
in
wanna
Columbus,
come.
Ohio. That's why.
So do the show and then stick around and hang out, sleep over Mike's house.
I invite.
Or his mom's house. His mom lives in New Bedford still.
Yeah, your mom lives in New Bedford. There you go.
See, not New Bedford, just Bedford. Bedford
Oh,
Heights.
Bedford.
Could you
excuse
get
me.
that off?
Old Bedford.
Could you say I'm at my dude's house sleeping? Could you get that off?
Yeah, why
Yeah, why
not?
wouldn't I?
No, if you
He's a
told your
trustworthy
wife.
guy.
Yeah.
Could you get that off?
Of course.
Okay, I don't know who y'all married to.
Yeah,
I can't
listen,
I'd never get that
you
off.
know
You
why?
crazy?
You know why?
Yeah.
Cause I ain't no player.
He's not a player.
My jersey in the Raptors.
I don't care if I was a player, a coach,
jersey's in
a
the
owner,
Raptors.
Yeah.
the ball boy. I'm not going after 12 o'clock. Like I'm not allowed
it.
to be
You're
at your
locked in.
people's house. I'm done.
You're done.
What if I'm at your? What if you at your you staying at your mother's house?
She like I'm coming too. I wanted to see mom anyway. I wanted to see mom. I love mom. Let's
G
go.
said his mom has her own room at the house. So if anything,
Yeah.
G's mom would come over to the crib instead of G having to go to his mom's spot.
Yeah, it's never. And they work in lockstep.
You couldn't come to Columbus and stay at my spot.
No, I would. She would be
Really?
like, "You need a spot. I need a spot
That's
too."
you're in the unusual situation.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I could go. Say for instance, I was doing some business there.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got business there too.
Yeah.
My business is just hanging out, so I'm gonna be there as well. Like, there's she'll let me go on no trips, no business trips. You must not be married to no Filipino women.
I'm not. My
Yeah,
wife's not
they don't-
Filipino.
I think just my wife just confident.
She just trusts you.
Yeah,
That's
she
it.
did.
All right, let's get into it. Shaq Leonard, the Colts obviously don't trust him anymore.
That's a
They
good one.
they
I like
decided
that.
to cut him. He will not be claimed on waivers because he's still got $6 million this year. Or I assume he won't be. And he's got, I think, his contract's beyond this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's till 2026. He's
There you
making a
go.
lot of money, but
No
if he does
ch- yeah.
get
No chance someone claims him. But once he gets through waivers, then anybody can pick him up for the league minimum, and the Colts still have to pay the majority of his money minus the league minimum.
You'd be surprised.
Now, Shaq Leonard was at one point a great linebacker. He is no longer a great linebacker. We have soured a little bit on PFF. He is graded 61st out of, I want to say, 90 linebackers.
Oh, that's
However,
they're dead to me.
His grades against the run are still solid. Guys, do we think Shaq Leonard, especially with the unknown status of our middle linebacker, could the Browns dabble in Shaq Leonard?
Yes.
What do we think?
Yeah, they could dabble there for sure.
I'm definitely going to go out
Yeah.
and look at that. If this is the best part of your team is defense,
Yeah.
and Jim Schwartz just turns everybody like JOK into monsters, first thing is going to happen, you look at it, first of all, he's going to be reinvigorated because, guess what? He's not on a team that's not playing well. You're going to be automatically on a team that is in contention.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, they're in contention. I mean, they're not as good as the Browns. Remember, I mean, they're not completely out of it. They're not a terrible team. It's not the Panthers.
No, they're not the Panthers.
They're a competitive team.
However,
they're not as good as the Browns.
For a chance to get to play with this defense, with that coach, and letting you play your game, and you ain't got to be the focal point of what's happening. You just got to make a couple plays a game, maybe against the run. Man, that's a beautiful thing. I'd be on the first thing smoking. I would tell other teams, don't you claim me.
They ain't claim. Well, if they owe $6 million, ain't nobody claiming those $6 million.
And if somebody does claim me, I'm telling my agent, no, I only want to go here.
You could do that.
I'm not coming to your spot.
You can't do that.
And because I'm gonna tell you what, the way Jim Schwartz have these dudes looking at him, like on the field, I feel like when I'm watching him, I got 3-4 plays left in me. But I don't.
Think so?
I don't. Me or Tyvis.
One?
Who don't?
Tyvis, you got some plays
Speak
left.
for yourself. What's wrong with you? I go out there today. As a matter of fact, I hear y'all down some safeties right now. You know,
You got to play.
That's true. They're down to their last safety there.
I cut 15 and come right back out there.
You're a tweener. You're gonna be a bandit.
That's fine. You know what? I prefer to be in the box anyway.
Yes.
I don't want to be in the post. That's boring. I want to be in next to the.
So now you're gonna get picky about where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm only good for a couple of plays, so I got to make them great.
And at this age of your career and with the injuries, playing those games go directly to your life points. Like they deduct your life points, like so you lose days on the earth on the back end.
That's
so,
fair. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Shaq Leonard, obviously, like I said, has been a great player. You'd think, we were a little worried about the Browns spending money here because they had, you pay a minimum. They just did the same with Flacco. And here's the interesting thing: apparently Shaq Leonard wanted to be cut because his playing time had been cut down. Now on the Browns, he's not going to play a ton. I don't think he's going to play any more than he played in Indianapolis, but he's playing for a better team. If you're a guy, if you're Shaq Leonard, and you wanted to get out of there because you weren't playing a lot, are you willing to still not play a lot if it's a better team? Or do you want to just go somewhere where you can play a lot even if it's not a good team? What do you think he's looking at?
That's actually interesting. I mean, if it's a better team, a better environment, I guess it just depends on how they're going to use him. You know, if he's coming in and he's like playing like the JOK role or something like that, where he come in and he's blitzing and he can make an imprint or impact on the game, I think he'd take that because it's still like you just want to show that you're still good. You want to show that you're productive, that you can make plays and stuff like that. If Jim Schwartz to take him and put him in a position where he's able to make plays, he'd have fun with that. Plus, you're winning games, you're going to the playoffs. And you know that's extra checks anyways. Now, if you're looking to be the starting middle linebacker again, then why would you want to go to a team that's not good either? Yes, you're going to get a ton of playing time, but the rest of this year is kind of wasted. Then you go to a situation where the coach is potentially going to get fired. You're might get a whole new coaching staff anyway.
Right.
So it's just a lot that goes into it. I think you have to focus on maximizing this season.
And by the way, he's not old. He's only 28, Shaq Leonard. He missed most of last season.
28's not old? What about 29?
Depends on the
Shut up,
it depends on the position, man. It depends on the position.
I'm 29.
I know you're 29, so you're old for a safety.
But 28 ain't.
That 28's all right for a linebacker. That's okay.
You done.
And by the way, so I was
Yeah.
looking at the snap counts real quick. So
Yeah.
Leonard allegedly
Hamstrings too
asked
tight.
out because he wasn't playing enough.
Right.
He's playing 64% of snaps in Indianapolis this
Yeah.
season.
Well, has it
Browns-
gone down over the last? It's probably gone down the last few weeks. Is my guess.
I don't have the game by game.
Yeah,
snap
because
count.
there's
I'm
no
just
way
looking
he
at the
complained
overall.
about 64%. It's probably been dropping, is my guess.
I would guess.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the overall season picture.
Right.
There's no Browns linebacker that plays more than 68% of snaps right now.
Yeah, he's not gonna
JOK's
play.
at 68%, Walker's at 64, Taki's at 49.
And if Walker's going to play, but like Shaq Leonard could still play, I think. You
Do
know,
you think Shaq Leonard is better than Taki?
probably.
So he could be an every down linebacker.
I mean, well, Anthony. I don't know how bad the Anthony Walker. What's the latest on Anthony Walker?
Well, Anthony
Mike?
Walker and Shaq played together in Indianapolis.
Exactly. So they know each other.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah. So
And to me, it's a no-brainer. I feel like teams like the Ravens sign guys like this in the
Every
middle
year.
of the
All
season
the time.
every year,
All
right?
the time.
JPP. They're always sign. That's why I said a couple weeks ago, bring in JPP, and he signed with who?
the Ravens.
The Ravens and the Niners also. They
Yeah.
make moves like this every year to supplement their strength.
And a lot of people get caught up with well, nobody else wants him. Nobody else wants him. Nobody else. No.
Mike was like 1,000 decibels in my ear just now.
No one else was going there look at those guys bring in people to supplement their people because look, you're now in the middle of the season. You can't bring any. If anybody gets hurt or anything happens,
Yeah.
you're on a scrap heap now.
Right.
You're just
I
I mean,
messing
let's call it what it is. The Browns have proved something this offseason with getting all those D linemen. It's been refreshing to have those new defensive linemen coming in and
Yes.
rotate. Linebacker, you already banged up at the position. Your young guys may not be ready to go in right away. You're one play away. If you can get this guy in a rotation, it's not like we got some studs at linebacker like
Right.
Roquan Smith where he ain't coming off the field.
Right,
Like
right,
that's
right.
not the case. If you could rotate, if you could add another person there that's productive, that you could
Yeah.
rotate in there, keep bodies fresh, especially late in the season, why would you not want to do that?
Especially when all the Browns linebackers have injury are
History.
injury prone.
Yeah.
You know, they were all hurt last year. So I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. Go ahead, Mike.
I didn't mean to get in your ear that loud. I'm
No.
not sure if Jay had it cranked up from the other day, but I have Shaq Leonard's game-by-game snap counts, by
Oh,
the way,
please.
to see
Yeah,
if it
go
goes
ahead.
down. Surprisingly, not that much. I'll go game by game. They've played
Yeah.
9 games this year. In the week 1 game, he played 86%, 71%, 69, 45, 81, 72, 84, 54, 70. So it's been up and down. It looks more
he's played
matchup
like
dependent.
60 plus in all but 2 games. So I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know. I just wanted to give that information out
Whoever the young dude is been balling, and he see the writing on the wall.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a great fit. I think there's no reason not to do it again. You're paying a minimum salary.
Yeah, I mean it's
I would assume, like,
it's
why-
a low risk, high reward.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge reward.
Oh, and real
Yeah.
quick, correction. JPP signed with the Saints, not the Ravens. I screwed that up. It was the Saints.
Okay,
That's my bad.
Yeah, that's true. We would. It's all right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we all agree. Why not sign him? Why wouldn't you?
Do you think they will sign him?
I don't feel confident in it.
I don't either. It just seems like it's the Browns, and they just be
Yeah.
like,
Now they did sign a veteran quarterback. when we were
I
asking for it
need to go
eventually.
see like who really needs a linebacker.
I don't know. You know.
Let me look.
You could. What do you mean needs? The Browns don't even need one. It's not about need. It's about making a strength stronger. The
I
Browns
mean,
have the
this
best defense in football. You want to load up.
This is what I think.
Yeah.
I think the Browns will offer something,
Yeah.
but I think ultimately it comes down to him.
Well, he's going to decide where he wants to go.
Right. So
But I
I'm saying,
hope-
so
yeah.
if is he gonna say to himself, "Hey, I'm gonna come to the Browns and be a rotational piece," or do I want to go and potentially get a starting spot? That's
Where's he going to start? I mean, like,
he
where's
could
the
start
team?
at Arizona, right?
Why the hell would he want to go to Arizona? They're the worst team in football. Who would he want to play there for?
It's good weather.
and get smoked.
Dude, come here and be part of a defense that makes.
I agree with you. I'm just telling
You know,
you.
if the Browns make a deep, if the Browns make a deep playoff run, no team has made a deep playoff run with this level of quarterback in forever. If the Browns can do it, it's gonna look good on all these guys on defense.
They have to do everything they can to make the defense even stronger, just because they need to be able to cover up for what
Right.
they have in offense, and it's a no-brainer. They
Right,
should bring him
and
in.
Shaq Leonard is better against the run in Arizona You know, I mean, like, what's he going to do there against the Browns? You know, against
San Francisco, they run the ball. Seattle runs the ball. Rams run the ball. They need a run
that, but
stopper.
Arizona stinks. Like, what kind of impact is he going to make there?
Stopping the run.
So he's going to be a 2-down linebacker and with a terrible team.
Okay, he's going to be a 2-down line. With the Browns, he's going to be a what?
A 1-down linebacker.
He's going to make an impact
on a great
on
team.
the best
Y'all,
defensive league.
y'all ain't really helping the case here.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, I'm just keeping it real
All
with
right,
you.
let's switch it up here, Mike. You got something to read?
We do, yeah. We're going to move on, and it involves the Browns quarterback. But first, like I mentioned today, G. Bush is doing the barbershop today at 3 o'clock, which means Behind the Glass will be taped and posted tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So you guys have some fresh new content to watch before 3 NFL games on Turkey Day. So make sure you check out the barbershop at 3. Tune in tomorrow for Behind the Glass. It's going to air at 11 a.m. normal showtime. And also, if you're out watching, we appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do us a little Thanksgiving favor and hook us up. Well, Deshaun Watson had successful shoulder surgery yesterday.
I've never heard of a player
season.
having unsuccessful surgery.
Odell Beckham Jr. did.
He did?
Yeah. It's very rare where they announce it's unsuccessful in the moment, but
His ACL just disintegrated.
Yeah.
I do think it is worth mentioning that even though most surgeries are successful, the team doctor came out and said he is expected to be back in full force for 2024, but he is done for 2023. And I was going through and looking up some numbers. And since the end of the 2020 season, so 2021, 2022, 2023, Deshaun will only have played in 12 of 51 potential games. It's a lot of missed time for a quarterback in a position that's constantly evolving, and you need some of those mental reps to stay fresh. Bo, looking ahead for Deshaun Watson's future, what do you think about the surgery and the impact of the missed time will have on Deshaun?
I don't know how you can't have some level of concern, guys, for Deshaun Watson's future. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on him or that I think he sucks now or anything for sure. I'm just saying when the guy has had another serious injury, and this is a very serious injury that not a lot of quarterbacks have had. I don't know if any quarterbacks have had this specific injury, so we don't know for sure how he's going to recover. Mike gave you the numbers. He's played it's 12 games, but he's really played 11 because he played 5 snaps in the Colts
counted
game.
the Indy game, but yeah.
Right, he's essentially put 11 out of the last 50 games, right? 34-50.
51, 17, 17, 17.
That's true. It's 317. Yeah. 11 out of 50. He's missed 40 of his last 51 possible games. He's coming off a shoulder surgery. Now, the thing going in his favor is two things. One, he's still relatively young, right? He's 29, I think. What is he?
He's 28.
What is he?
He's 28. Sorry.
So he's young.
Young at 28.
Y'all sick.
And quarterbacks don't get old till, I'll say 33, 34. But he also, for the first time as a Brown, started to show the arrow pointing up right before he got hurt again. Mm-hmm. What's your level of concern long-term on Deshaun? Or, I don't know, next year or long-term, however you want. What is your level of concern, guys?
So, I don't. What's the recovery process? He's supposed to be able.
We have no idea.
See
supposedly,
he's supposed to be able to throw in 2 or 3 months, right? Ain't that what he said?
Who said 2-3 months?
He did.
Mike, did he say 2-3 months?
When he did his press conferences last Tuesday, he said, "I think we should be."
I thought he wasn't going to be back until July.
Yeah, I don't think he was fully throwing until sometime next year. But 2-3 months is also sometime next year, so I'm not quite sure where that timeline lines up.
Well, we don't know.
Okay,
I guess we don't know for sure.
So
remember, this is an injury. I don't think there's a comp on this injury, so we don't know. It is a big difference if he's ready in July versus ready in March.
Well, true.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he probably won't do OTAs this year, which that sucks. If he did OTAs this year, I'd be much more confident going into it. I think it'll be a thing that we just going to have to it's going to probably start off the season slow next year, and he's got to get his confidence back. I think right before that last game or that Ravens game, it showed that he was finally confident again to go 14-14 with the broken shoulder. I think that probably a little bit why I'm all right with it. I mean, with the injury, he was still 14-14, so they just fixing it. I think that my only concern is just him not touching the ball for that long and not, having the chemistry with his guys. That's what's going to play into where he's not going to be great right away. But as the season goes on, I don't expect him not to get back to the form that he was.
But what was he? Because he had not fully regained his form.
Tennessee him and Baltimore Ravens him. That was a pretty that you can win Super Bowls with that. If he gets to that,
If the Browns defense plays next year like it does this year, I would agree with you.
So wait a minute. Let me say, Baltimore. The defense wasn't great. Baltimore. They gave up 31 points.
What was the final score of that game?
33-31, wasn't it?
That is correct.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, a lot of that was because of the offense, no? In the first half?
There
was a pick six.
That's okay.
There you go.
All right, so that's 20.
Yeah.
There was a muff punt inside the 5.
Okay, that's 20.
Right.
That's 14 points right there.
17 points.
Yeah, so they gave up 17 points.
That's a big difference.
But the Browns still scored 33.
Right? So, yeah, you can win with that defense.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Yeah, you can win with that defense. I got 0.
Zero concern.
0.
I mean, the man is a great competitor. I mean, he worked his butt to get back to where he was at before he left.
I look at it like this. Like, I just go down the sliding scale. Like, if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, do I expect Aaron Rodgers to
Aaron Rodgers coming back in 2 weeks.
Apparently.
That's what he said. He said he practicing in 2 weeks. Thursday night versus the Browns. It's going to be
I'll believe that
It's going to be Aaron Rodgers versus DT Aura.
That's crazy. If he comes back in that
Go
time.
ahead, G.
If he comes back in that time,
He on that
ridiculous.
stuff.
Now, listen, Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back, I'm not going to think that he's going to throw wounded ducks. Joe Burrow's out for the year. He going to miss the rest of this year. He missed a whole year with the ACL, or he missed most of the offseason with the ACL. And he came back, and people was like, is Joe Burrow going to suck? And you're like, no, he's not.
He did.
But in
He
fairness,
did
you're
suck.
talking about missing most of 3 years versus 1 in
He
these cases.
looked good.
But here's the rebuttal.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson didn't miss those games because he was injured. He missed them because he was in trouble.
Agreed.
So
But
he was just sitting there.
It contributed to his rust, though.
Yes. So if it was, I would take the just chilling rust over I'm hurt rust. The I'm hurt rust
Certainly.
is different. Like, because
Certainly.
you got to get back to a baseline of competing.
Yeah, certainly.
The I'm chilling rust, like he was ready to go. He had to sit out 11 games. He sat out a whole year with the Texans. He played 6 games, and then, he got the little games that he played this year. And the reason why I say 0 is because, I mean, the dude just beat the Baltimore Ravens on the road, and he had a messed up shoulder and a messed up ankle. Like, it's kind of like, once he did that, I was like, all right, he's good.
Half of the recovery process is mental. Like, mentally, he got to be like, I'm back to that dude.
Because guess what? His last game,
That's what he said.
he saw success.
Yeah, he was back.
He's like,
to-
oh, okay.
I'm back.
I could
That's
do
what he
this
said.
against,
Yeah.
when it counted, I could do this.
Like I said, he went 14-4 with the injury, so like,
Yeah. I got to say, I do have some concern.
you should.
I mean-
I don't listen to the 0.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know how I can have 0 because I'm worried. I'm a little worried about this injury because it's so unique, and him coming back. If he had not missed the last 2 seasons, I wouldn't be as worried. But the fact that he and I know it wasn't because he was hurt. The fact that he missed all of 2 seasons ago, missed most of last season, and now is missing most of this season. We already saw how long it took him to overcome the rust. It took a while, way more than we thought it would take. And just when he finally started getting over it, he got hurt. And then he started getting over it again, and he got hurt again. And throw in the fact that this injury
it took him 7
is a
games.
unique injury on his shoulder, and I don't know how he's going to recover. If I had, if do I think am I more than 50% worried? No, I'm not more than 50% worried. But to me, there's definitely a level of concern about Watson.
Okay, 5%.
I think that I argue that the reason that he got hurt so much is because he missed all that time.
Maybe he did, but now he's missing more time. And listen, we could spin it however we want. The reality is that even when he played well against Tennessee and then what he did against Baltimore in the second half, I was not ready to say he's fully back yet. I thought he was trending there. I thought I was about to say, I think he's almost there. He's getting close. But he wasn't fully back yet. He wasn't playing like a star. he was playing better, but he wasn't playing like a star yet. Let's be honest about that.
The Tennessee game, he did play like a star.
He still threw for under 300 yards in that game.
Are you serious?
I mean, come on, a star.
Serious?
What you expect when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, I expected him putting up and numbers are down. I get it.
You know why he ain't got over 300 yards? You want to know why?
Why?
Because he ain't got no deep threat outside of Amari Cooper. That's half the reason.
You were the one who's loving Elijah Moore. I think Earl said Elijah Moore was going to have 1,400 yards this year.
Wait a minute.
You two were loving him.
Wait a minute. I texted y'all before the game. I said Elijah Moore will have his best game.
Yeah.
What was? How we gonna look at his?
What is his okay game? 60 yards.
Was that his high for the season?
I'm pretty sure.
We have half our. Anthony said Elijah Moore was going to be second on the Browns in rushing yards. I mean, you guys are crazy.
You know,
so I over-exaggerated, you know, so I missed it by a little bit. You know, that's what you do.
I'm just saying.
It's a crapshoot.
We all want Deshaun Watson to be back, to be healthy, and playing like a great player. I got to just be realistic that I have some concerns about it because of everything.
We got a second-round pick this year, right?
I think so.
Correct.
Yeah.
They better find whoever the best second-round wide receiver is.
You know they don't draft receivers good.
Shoot.
Listen,
Diggs is going to be available. Go get Diggs.
Go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
I'm less worried about the physical, and I'm actually going to let Earl chime in here because we talked a little bit about this on Behind the Glass today. We learned Deshaun was going out. You know, it happened Wednesday morning. We talked about it on the show, but Earl brought up a really good point on Behind the Glass. I'm going to turn the camera and let him talk on it about the mental process Deshaun's going to have to overcome getting back from this injury as opposed to just the physical side of things.
So if you check my Instagram, it's like 1.8 thousand views on the clip we did from Behind the Glass.
He's a big time. Where can they find it at? What's the name?
Earl the Pearl 216, the same as my Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I talked about it in all seriousness, all football aside, all occupation aside, because we know Deshaun Watson as a football player, man to man, I'm worried about his mental health. If you think about everything that this dude has been through on and off the football field over the last 3 years, it just got me to thinking about that side of things. Like, what's his state of mind like? What's his emotional stability like? And as men, like, we already carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We already deal with so much in this world, like on a day-to-day basis.
Did you say as men?
As men. Just let me finish.
All right.
And I think that when you continue to go through things, every time you get knocked down and you continue to pick yourself back up, and it's like, damn, here's something else that's coming, it can weigh on you. And I know a lot of people, man, who's had things weigh on them to the point to where they took themselves up out of here. And so, like, I just hope Deshaun Watson know, like, your life is valuable. And, yeah, your career is a NFL football player, man, but you worth so much more than that. Just continue to pick yourself back up because, as Tyvis alluded to, like, a lot of it is mental. And sometimes the mental ain't got nothing to do with what you do for a living. It just got to do with your everyday life.
I will say, I can't give too much detail, but I will say that I've heard positive things about Deshaun behind the scenes in terms of doing things necessary in terms of a mental health aspect. I hope that's not confusing because I just don't want to say too much based on what I heard.
He's taking care of his mentals.
Yes, that's what I've been told.
Yes.
That's what I've been told by a very reliable source.
That's great.
I think Deshaun Watson is built for it. Just be honest with you. He went through a lot in his life when he was younger. With his mom having cancer and things like that, not knowing his dad, grew up in a rough upbringing. My thing is, he showed you what he about. Like, sometimes when you get, the last thing you see is some success about yourself. And people say, well, he hasn't gotten back to the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. And I feel like nobody is Houston Texans. Like, that's like saying I wish G. Bush would get back to the barbershop G. Bush 3 years ago. I'm a different person than I was 3 years ago. And so for Deshaun Watson, it's not about getting back to that. It's about what does the Deshaun Watson look like today. And I think we could all agree that Deshaun Watson today, if he was not hurt and the Browns are playing the way they are defensively, we'd have them as a serious Super Bowl contender. Just by the way he was playing then. Just by the way he played against Baltimore. If we could get that Deshaun Watson, forget the Texans one. You pay a quarterback $230 million for what you can do in the fourth quarter.
But I think part of that was that game made us feel like he was going to continue to get better. If the Baltimore if what he did in the Baltimore game and was the highest he was going to get, that's not good enough.
Well, no, I think it's his spots. I think if you telling me 14 out of 14 against the best defense in the game,
I hear you, Jimmy.
That's good enough.
But when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, and I remember because I was on the radio when it happened, and I was going bananas, excited. I was screaming and yelling. I wasn't screaming and yelling for him to throw, 230 yards or whatever it was.
Well, I think...
And you could say that's whatever. We all expected Deshaun to be a superstar. Nobody can deny. Let's not pretend we didn't expect that. And he hasn't been. He hasn't played an all-pro level game, in my opinion. Now, you may argue with the Ravens game because when it mattered down the stretch, he did. But Kenny Pickett's done that at times, and we don't say he's played all-pro games.
He ain't been 14 to 14.
Well, all right. Well, whatever. I mean,
what I would say,
Kenny Pickett did, and you're right. He's not 14 to 14. He had a 156.3 QB rating in the last 4 minutes of a game when they were down by a score tied, which is essentially perfect. So it wasn't 14 to 14, but he also was really good when it mattered most and sucked the rest of the game.
The only way I can compare this slightly, is for people to understand with the Deshaun version that he is now. Like, okay, when that trade was made, you essentially thought he'd be like Patrick Mahomes. You think you would put up those type of numbers. Patrick Mahomes type. You give up 230, three first-round picks. This guy's going to come here. He's going to put up 300-plus yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, lead, be first or third, or 1 through 3 in passing yards every single year, stuff like that.
Right, and that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
There's been circumstances that have affected it, certainly. But
so my thing is, to me, when I look at Deshaun now, it's like Kevin Love. Kevin Love with the T-Wolves was not Kevin Love with the Cavs. Two totally different things. With the T-Wolves, 20-20 a night. With the Cavs, that's not necessarily what he had to do.
Actually, it was 20. It was about.
That's not a good comparison, Tyler.
27 and 14.
No, you got to understand.
The quarterback's got to be the best player on the team.
You got to understand.
Yeah.
Houston, that's what he had to do. Like, that's the only way they had a chance.
Yeah, he don't have to do
with
that.
Cleveland, with this defense, he don't have to do that. They didn't have to be in that situation.
That sounds like a lot of excuse making.
Not an excuse. I'm just trying to tell you.
It is an excuse.
I'm just telling you. And also in Houston, he had a deep threat that he could throw deep down the field to, and it's a 50-50 ball, which is the best thing that he's good at is throwing deep balls. He don't even have that with the Cleveland Browns.
Nobody was making these excuses before the season.
All I'm telling you is, if you get him if he would have figured it out with Marquise Goodwin, he would have had 300 easily every game.
Here's the thing.
That's one of those completions is 70 yards. You throw 70 yards on top of his numbers now, he's getting 300.
The reality today is here's how you judge a franchise quarterback. The reality of the situation is if Deshaun Watson was playing today and he was completely 100% healthy, the Cleveland Browns could beat anybody in the world.
Fact.
That's a fact.
But he's not healthy.
Well,
that doesn't matter. I mean, that doesn't matter.
And the crazy part about it is the team is so good, they probably could beat 90% of the world. Like, they may have some trouble against the upper echelon, but the Browns have shown you that they can
that would make Brock Purdy a franchise quarterback, too. Because the Niners can beat anybody in the league.
Is he not?
Is he not? He is.
I say, is he not one?
You know.
You don't think Purdy's a franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
I guess it depends how you define it. No, I don't think of him as a top. I look at him as a tier 3 quarterback.
Tier 3?
Yeah.
Why?
Like
no, wait, why?
Weren't you just arguing with me against Jay when he spread that nonsense about Josh Allen?
I said he was top 15.
Yeah,
I agree.
Tier 3.
Yeah, tier 3 is like 8.
But I didn't say he was 15. I just said he in the top 15. I never said what number he was.
Tier 3 is 8 in my mind of thinking, and that's like 8 to 13, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Dang. So I got like, how many teams is it?
32.
Yeah.
So I'm breaking down into 10s. Top 10,
No, I don't.
10 to 20 in the bottom.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm like, dang,
But
bro,
they
you gotta-
look at it like tier 1 is only
Tier
like
1 is
3
Patrick
quarterbacks.
Mahomes.
No,
Tier
I got
1's
one
one-on-one.
guy on tier 1.
See
That's
that?
Patrick Mahomes.
See that? That's why.
That's my tier.
How many tiers do you have?
How do you define
Like 6
that?
or 7 tiers.
Oh, okay.
I can't
Yeah.
get 6
3
or
out of 7.
So
That's
three is-
good. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Who is he with? Who's like Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott,
I'm starting to, but Bull, look,
Tua.
Bull, if this
Yeah.
new defensive era is in,
Yeah.
in effect,
If
you
they-
got to change that because a lot of them quarterbacks can
but
win.
G, you can't pretend you didn't expect more from Watson. Than
Wait
we
a minute.
got.
Let
No,
me.
it's not.
You know that.
Let me ask you
You
this.
thought he was going to throw 5,000 yards? We all thought he threw
I agree.
4,500,
Here's the thing.
4,800.
Sometimes, that's what we do in life.
You're right. He may not need to do as much as we wanted him to do, but we
Yeah.
can't pretend now when we didn't expect him
Where
to do
is
that.
he?
That's all I'm saying.
Where is he compared to Trevor Lawrence to you?
Who?
Deshaun.
It's hard to compare. I can't. I don't even have Deshaun in a tier right now because I have no idea where to put
It's
him.
really hard to quantify.
He's
what
like off
Deshaun
to the
is right
side.
now.
He just hasn't played enough the last 3 years. He can be. He can't be Mahomes, but he can be tier 2. I think he's capable of being tier 2 with Burrow and those guys, a couple of guys there. But I can't put him on a tier right now because he hasn't played enough.
And you know this, your studies show as humans, we need to put things in groups in context so we can make meaning of it.
Yeah.
If we don't know, like if we didn't have no rankings, we wouldn't know how to feel about the sport. We wouldn't know how to judge or gauge how we see it and we react to certain things.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, the more annoying part is not the fact that they think that Deshaun Watson is not what he thought he was. It's the fact that he hasn't played enough for them to be comfortable in their heart of hearts of saying, I want to be either all in or all not. People don't like being lukewarm or not knowing.
I am, but I think you're right. Everybody goes into categories, and for me, I'm not willing to do
Well,
that.
it's
I'm
not-
staying in the uncomfortable.
Well, this
thing.
ain't this. Okay, so how can you say somebody like Joe Burrow is
Yeah.
in tier 2 and he's been up and down this season?
No, Joe Burrow, since he's been in the league, has been great
No,
outside
no,
of
no.
3 games this
So
season.
has Deshaun, right?
No, Deshaun hasn't been great for 3 years.
But we going off of this season though, right?
No, I'm going. Well, not just this season. Obviously, this season weighs
Okay.
a heavier than
so
anything
great.
else.
So where's Joe?
Tier 2
How?
because he was the last 2 years. He was
But
the second best
you
quarterback
just
in the
said we
league.
going off of this
I'm
year,
not
though.
just. I didn't say just this year. I said it's part of the.
You said it was heavily.
It's a heavier part of the equation.
How do you feel about
Yeah,
if, like I asked Aditi, is Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, are you concerned about his long-term health?
I'm not. No.
Now, I haven't seen nobody with no ligament damage in their throwing arm.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
It's a wrist.
ligament damage in your wrist
Yeah.
is devastating for a guy who has to hold the ball.
So maybe I have 1% concern.
Okay, so you had the calf injury. He's a mobile guy.
Yeah, I hear you. But the bottom line is Deshaun is older, has had more injuries, serious injuries,
How old is Joe Burrow?
25.
Yeah.
He's a young old dude. I think Lamar
and Watson's barely played for 3 years, where Burrow has played all until the second half of this year.
And you got the calf, you got the ACL, right?
Yeah.
You got the wrist?
Listen, guys get hurt. That's part of the deal.
That's what.
But
That's
what's the point?
My point is just that one where you were in.
He hasn't missed 40 of his last 50
But
games.
but
though.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you say he missed them games,
Yeah.
they're due to suspension.
I hear you, but that fact
It's not like there's wear and tear on his body.
True. I'm not saying I'm not arguing that he's not going to come back. I'm arguing that I don't know how good he is at this point. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that.
I don't know how good. That doesn't mean I don't think he's good. I just don't know how good.
You just don't know.
I don't know.
I can't.
I'm not sure exactly where he is.
He can't see the ceiling and the floor anymore. He's kind of just floating in limbo until he comes back.
I still think
Is that what you're saying,
Deshaun
Will?
Watson can get back to the tier 2 with Burrow. I think he's still capable. I'm just not sure. I also think he could be tier 5. I don't know.
Here's what I think. I don't think Deshaun Watson, due to the coach, due to the system, and due to who the Cleveland Browns are as an organization, he's never going to put the numbers he put up in Houston ever.
I don't think so either.
That's gone.
I think that a lot of that has to do with the way defense has adjusted this year as a whole. And if that continues, then I will agree with you.
I also think it has to do with the way Kevin Stefanski wants to play football.
I agree with that too.
I think if they had,
That's why
I do think that's part of it. We still, come on. In the end, we all said 5,000. Oh, we all said over 4,500 yards this year.
But sometimes, Boo, guess what? You see what it is.
Right.
You
Now-
see
now
the
things change.
like
you get
but
new
to be
information.
fair, what we heard was new offense. Wait
Right.
till y'all see
That's
this
enough.
offense. It's gonna be high power.
It's crazy,
Deshaun,
yeah.
and that wasn't the case. They ran the ball a lot.
They
did.
scrapped that whole thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But as Nick Chubb maybe doesn't come back, I don't know. Maybe they, it's
It's a lot.
It's hard to,
It's
hard to see.
offensively
It's
for the
very
Browns.
complicated.
It's a
Watch this.
Yeah.
To me, I watch certain quarterbacks. I don't even think Patrick Mahomes is the same Patrick Mahomes 3 years ago as in the 18. You watch that game?
His numbers are down a little bit.
It's just but it's the way
Everybody's
he
numbers
plays.
are down.
It's
Everybody's numbers are down.
the
right now.
game is switched up a little bit.
Except for a couple of guys. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we're going to talk quarterbacks and quarterback tiers, ironically, next.
Yeah.
But first, a quick reminder that, once again, no show tomorrow. There will be a Behind the Glass at 11, the barbershop today at 3 o'clock. And then on Friday, we're back for a YouTube show plus a TV show. You can find us on Channel 3 from 12:30 to 1 with 30 more minutes of content previewing the Browns-Broncos game. Also sprinkling a little Ohio State-Michigan content because the games this weekend, 2 undefeated teams, should be a lot of fun. All right, so we talked about tiers, and I didn't necessarily ask it in this sense, but I'm going to kind of pivot the question. I'll ask it the same way, and then you guys can put each of these guys into tiers. But Deshaun Watson has a big contract. Russell Wilson has a big contract. Russell Wilson's older. Deshaun Watson's younger. Wilson's been a little healthier. Take everything into consideration. Everything. If you had to choose between one of those,
Contract, all
age,
of it.
production, well, everything,
Yeah.
which quarterback would you rather have moving forward?
Don't
And let's let Tyvus start. We'll go around the
Go
horn
ahead,
here.
Travis.
Jermaine.
I know he hates Russell Wilson.
I don't. Will you stop saying
You've
that?
been dogging that guy for years.
I never dogged him one time.
You said he's not a good quarterback, which is completely unfair.
I agree. That's what it is.
He is a good quarterback. He's always been a good quarterback. You don't want to say he's not elite. I'll be with you there, but to say he's not a good quarterback is completely unfair. Outside of last year, he's been a good quarterback every year of his career.
Wait a minute. What's the question again?
Go ahead.
What's the question?
Watson or
Who would
Wilson?
you rather
with
have?
everything taken into consideration, who would you rather have moving forward?
Derek Watson. I like Derek. I don't even know
Derek?
why.
His
Derek.
real first name is Derek?
Were you not here when
You weren't here
Tyvus
that
asked Deshaun why he goes
Oh,
by
yeah,
Deshaun?
that's right. I forgot.
Derek Watson. I just for the simple fact that I think Russell is scarred. I know he's scarred from just some of the mistakes that he's had. And it's the consistency thing is just not. It's his problem with me. I know people can argue that Deshaun Watson hasn't been consistent, but for him, it's just like a known thing that he gonna give you half of a season, and then that's just gonna be it. And I just don't think you can win like that. I think that Deshaun has a higher upside. I also believe Deshaun is more mobile. I do believe leadership-wise that Russell Wilson is a great leader when it comes to a leader of teams and a great locker room guy from that standpoint. But I'm hearing great things about Deshaun Watson as well. Obviously, Deshaun is younger. So I'm going with Deshaun. I'm going with Deshaun. All things taken in consideration, contract, injuries, age, all of that. I think Deshaun Watson's the better deal.
G. Bush.
Man, this is a no-brainer. What you talking about? Picking Russell Wilson? Deshaun Watson, stop playing around with me, man. It's just not even close. Not even close, bro. I can't. There's too many to count on. Look, Russ had his time. Russ had his time. And, he did his thing. A lot of these quarterbacks, you got to be, and that's the thing. There's only a couple quarterbacks that stand alone that you could put out there to be like, all right, win me some games. Russ got to have something around him. You got to have a defense and a run game around him, right? He's not going to go out there and throw for 400 and do all that stuff. So, I don't think Deshaun Watson, like I said, if you waiting for Deshaun Watson as Houston to walk through the door, that's not going to happen. But what you can get from Deshaun Watson today is good enough to win you some games, good enough to get you to the Super Bowl, right? He's more mobile. I like, traditionally his decision-making is better. He's a leader. And at the end of the day, that's the going rate. I think a lot of people don't once again still don't understand. There's no choice in the 230 I think we get caught up in it. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When
Well, in this case, it doesn't matter because Russell Wilson's getting a ton of money too.
when they said when they was giving Sam Bradford all that money, guaranteed.
Oh, God, remember that? Ooh.
So I want to, for everybody that got a problem with 230.
Yeah.
When they was giving rookie quarterbacks $150 million, sight unseen, never played it down.
That was crazy.
Never played it. Why was y'all not complaining back then? Why was it? I mean, now we get to the point. At least you see what these guys have done for a whole contract. They got 6 years of track record before they give them the 230 guaranteed or whatever they're getting. So why did you have a problem before? I think we just get caught up in the money and we just, oh my God, it's crazy. But look, give me Deshaun Watson, man. You know, he'll be back next year and he's gonna continue to keep pressing away, keep knocking away. I like to call the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns might be the Denver Nuggets of football. Because
what do you mean by that?
They plodded along. They kept adding pieces here or there, plodding along, and then they got Jokic to become Jokic. Jokic won an MVP to start off with. He's a guy hanging behind Nurkic. They went and got some guys. They figured out, like, let's take a chance on Porter, and they got that. So the Browns is still a work in progress. Like, the Browns need another receiver. The Browns could deal with another left tackle. The Browns might even need to go get them another safety or linebacker. But I think the Browns is not a finished product, so to speak. But as they keep building and keep building and keep building and keep building, the defense is so good that I think the defense even kept the window open a little longer before, so they could add another piece to it. And it all depends. Defenses is like bullpens. It's year to year. They could be great this year. They can have an injury next year and be done. But I do think that the Browns can add some stuff to it where you still can say, wow, okay, the Browns got better over a 3-year period.
All right, I'm going to take Russell Wilson in this situation.
Oh, we wasted all our time on that.
Somebody got to take him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you give your whole answer. I talked to everyone who's on the show, and I'll give you their answers after you go, by the way.
Yeah. Let me tell you why, okay? I look at the most important players on the Browns. Myles Garrett's 28. Amari Cooper's, 30? 29, 30?
Yes, in that range.
Joel Bitonio's 30, 31. A lot of the Browns' key players probably don't have that many great years left, where they're at the peak of their powers, right? We know it based on history. Now, maybe Myles Garrett's going to be a freak and play longer. That wouldn't shock me. But how many good years do Bitonio and Amari Cooper have left? And those are two of your most important players on offense.
Chubb, too.
What's that?
You could put Chubb in that category, too.
And Chubb, the same thing. Okay. Now, Russell Wilson has been very good every year of his career except for last year. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You disagree, Tyvus?
His last year in Seattle wasn't that crazy either.
I'm not watching him play every day. I know the numbers were really good the last
25 and 6 his last year in Seattle.
25 touchdowns, 6
picks.
picks?
Interceptions, yeah.
Outside of last year was a disaster. For Wilson, for the Broncos, total disaster. Outside of last year, you know what Russell Wilson doesn't really do? He doesn't turn the ball over. The Browns, you just talked about it. They're not going to win throwing the ball, being crazy. They're going to win by running the ball and playing great defense. Who won a Super Bowl with a team that ran the ball and played great defense? That would be Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has thrown 25 touchdowns in the postseason and 12 picks, 2-to-1 ratio. All right? He has his detractors, and that's fine. I thought he was going off the cliff last year, but clearly he's not. 19 touchdowns, 4 picks this year. He's been better than Watson this year. He's been better than Watson 3 years in a row, essentially, because Watson, even last year.
Hasn't played.
Watson hasn't played. Now, Russell Wilson's older, and that's, in the end, what gives me pause. But I think the Browns' best chance to win a Super Bowl is the next 2 years. And I think for the next 2 years, Russell Wilson would give them a better shot. Do I agree that Deshaun Watson has more upside than Russell Wilson? Of course I do. I think the best we've seen ever of Watson is better than the best we've seen ever of Wilson. You guys just said it. we may not get that again. And I know that outside of 1 year, Russell Wilson has played a lot of years and has been a very steady guy. Look at that touchdown interception ratio. That's excellent.
Deshaun's is
I'm about to say Deshaun's is
Russell
too.
Wilson's is better.
Who played longer?
Well, the ratio, just quick
The
math.
ratio has nothing to do with it.
It's a 3-to-1 essentially for Wilson, and
It's better than 3-1 for Wilson.
3.2 to 2.24, 2.3 mental math.
And this year he's like 5-1, isn't he?
19-4 this year.
I mean, he's almost 5-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I'm looking at this from a Browns perspective. Who gives me a better chance to win a Super Bowl? And I'm including this year. If I have Russell Wilson on the Browns right now, they might be the favorites to win it all.
How many games the Broncos won?
They're 5-5.
5-5? Yeah, 5-5. They won 4 in a row.
With a way worse defense than the Browns have.
I guess I tell you what. I guess we will find out this Sunday.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
Well, that's not an apples-to-apples comparison. Russell Wilson's got to play against the Browns defense.
Right, see what I'm saying?
You know.
If Russell's, if he balling, we're going to see if you balling because you at home.
Yeah.
Not a lot of quarterbacks have been balling against the Browns.
I just
You
want to see.
were going against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But the rookie quarterback's going against the Broncos defense, which is mid.
No, it's not.
It's mid. What are you talking about? No, it's not.
it's
Is
kinda
it mid? I don't know where
kinda
do
mid.
they rank?
mid to low.
They're actually the bottom
Yeah,
of
they're
the
actually
rankings
low.
because the Dolphins game
Dolphins
got it out
game.
of whack. They're mid. If you
That's
look at
crazy.
the analytics, they're kind of mid.
Historically, they for like the past, I don't know, like 6-7 years, they've been pretty darn
If
good
you look at
defensively.
a lot of numbers, the analytics and stuff, they're middle of the road.
Living on that legacy.
Again, if you would have asked me this question any other, like for the last few years, I would have, of course, said Watson. But it's now 3 years that he is either mostly missed or mostly not played well. And Russell
I
Wilson's
don't know.
older.
I just for some.
But if I could have Russell Wilson for this year and next year, maybe one more,
I think
I'd rather have it. I hate to say it.
So let me ask y'all this. This is how we do it.
That's the second time you referenced this song on the
Yes,
show.
you don't ever have to. So, all right. Well, with the narrative that he hasn't played well, right?
Who,
Yeah.
Deshaun?
Yeah. So I thought Deshaun played well against the Ravens.
No, second half.
Played well against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Played well against the Titans.
Yeah.
That's it.
He didn't really play at all against the Colts, so that's out of here. It was
Pittsburgh game was not
Pittsburgh,
great.
that
and
was
and the Bengals game was raining.
Bengals game. So really, I could point to one game this
And
year.
you can't say nothing about the rain because Joe Burrow looked awful. If that's the case.
So the one game he played this year, he looked. The only game this year he looked bad was the Steelers game. Let's go back to last year, right?
He played bad all the games last year. He played. Come
No,
on, G,
watch
keep it
it.
real.
Whoa.
You always keep it real. Keep it real.
Washington
Keep it
game.
real.
Washington game. He played very well. He threw 3 touchdown passes that
Hey,
game.
Mikey, why they do this argue? Can you can you look up his Russell Wilson's fourth quarter game winning drives? I want that.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I got you.
Go ahead.
So he played well in the Washington game. He played horrible against the Texans his first game back. Did not play well against the Steelers, which was the last game of the season. Who else did they play? Didn't really play well against Buffalo.
Who you talking about?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
He
Deshaun.
has played 0 great games for the Browns. 0.
Deshaun
Great.
didn't play against Buffalo, though, did he?
No, that was what's it?
Brissett.
That was Brissett, yeah.
But he's played some good games.
He's played a few good games, but not a lot.
See, I mean, but if you gonna say horrible, like
Why? What do you? Why? Because he didn't have 300 yards. Is that why it's not great?
What's great? What game did he play great? Tyvus, you guys watch football. You know football
Why
better than
was
anybody.
why was
you know
Tennessee
he hasn't
not
played
good?
great.
why was Tennessee not great?
It was a good game. That was his best game. That was his best game.
Why wasn't it great though?
He could have had 300. He should have had
Hold
300.
on, no. I just want to know why wasn't it a great game?
He didn't blow you away in that game. It's just eye test, man. Come on, you guys know better than me.
What do you?
You know he hasn't played
What
that
was it?
good. Don't
Hold on.
pretend like I'm crazy.
I'm
here.
just saying.
He
I
hasn't
just want to
played
know.
that good.
I just
Let's
want to
be
know
honest.
why was Tennessee not great? I mean, hold on. Let me.
I must be getting a ton of hate in the chat room today.
No, I'm just trying to
Gotta
see
keep
what
it
do
real,
you
Tyvus.
what
Come
do
on.
you mean that it wasn't great? I mean,
What were his numbers against
his
Tennessee?
numbers against
I can't
Tennessee.
remember
He
now.
went 27 for 33, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, no
All
picks.
right.
That's good game. That's a great game.
I don't understand how that's.
I'll give him one.
That was
That's
a
great.
great- that was
That's
a
great.
great
say,
game.
That's
you
all
keep
good.
saying that. I'm like, how's that not
great?
It's one great game.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all
All
we
right.
can do.
So now we got that great out of the way.
I got you one great game.
But then
I got a one Pro Bowl level game.
You got one great.
Say, boy, you
but
got a
then,
good night.
But then it's 3 goods in there.
No.
It ain't no 3
I
goods in
don't-
there.
I don't remember that Washington game that well.
The Washington game, real quick. I got the stats right here.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
9 for 18, 169 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, come on.
He threw 3 touchdowns in that game.
He threw 3 touchdowns.
Off of 9?
9
Off
for
of 9
18.
completions.
Come on.
He was
Stop
dropping
it.
dimes.
Stop
Look
it.
at that
I got-
touchdown.
Stop.
I wouldn't call.
I'm smelling desperation.
That's good.
I'm smelling desperation.
I will not call that a great game.
Hey, I said good.
But 3 touchdowns
I
off
said
of 9
good.
completions is okay.
That's good.
That's like a Tim Tebow game.
Hey, listen. Let me ask y'all this: if you had him on your fantasy team, y'all be jumping
Yeah.
Oh,
for
for sure.
3 times. Oh yeah.
Let me just make it clear. I'm not giving up on Deshaun Watson. I still think there's a chance he becomes a very good quarterback again. I'm just saying I want the Browns to have the best chance to win the Super Bowl. Maybe I'm out of my mind.
So for the
but
next-
I think for the next couple of years,
You rather have Russell?
I think it's Russell Wilson's the safer play.
Okay.
Even though Deshaun's upside is higher, I think Russell Wilson's safety and quality and lack of turnovers on this team.
We're going to find
will
out
give them
this
a better
weekend.
chance.
We're going to find out 4 o'clock in
Bull,
Mile High.
Yeah.
Bull is one of those guys that it says behind door number 1 you get a vacation. Behind door number 2 you win
Yeah.
a car. But behind door number 3 is the mystery door. He's picking 1 or 2.
You see, what's funny is generally, 1 second, Mike. Generally, I am not that type of guy. I am a go-for-it type of guy.
But this situation, you are.
In this situation, because I just like the way Russell Wilson's playing. I like his playoff experience. That's why I'd go with it. I think the risk has gotten a little high.
I'm not telling you you're wrong.
The risk has gotten a little high on
If
Watson.
they're completely healthy, you got both of them, and it's the Super Bowl. Who you playing?
I would play Watson.
Well, we're gonna bring someone in here real quick who knows
I don't
more
know.
about Russell Wilson.
I told you.
I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know.
I had
I'd
to
second guess my
right,
answer
right.
right now.
I had to listen. Hey, listen. That 14-14.
Because, I thought he was finally going to get back
Oh
to the
my
player,
goodness.
but he hadn't gotten there yet.
I got
And
you.
So I'm still concerned.
I got
There's
you.
still some level of concern that he won't get there. And if he doesn't and he stays injury prone, I'd rather have the reliable guy. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Ty, you asked earlier, Russell Wilson has 31 career fourth-quarter comebacks and 39 career game-winning drives. We're going to bring in Cody Roark here from Locked On Broncos here in 1 sec, and he can help us determine
Yeah,
if
let me ask
Russell
him
Wilson
about-
could be a better option than Deshaun Watson. But first, FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and you can score early this NFL season with FanDuel right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app has spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. And the best part, it is simple and easy to use. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And with that, let's welcome in Cody Roark of Locked On Broncos, who knows a little something about Russell Wilson. Maybe more than Tyvis, who played with Russell. So what's up, Cody? Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, Cody. How are you, man? Thanks for joining us. I don't know how much you heard of our debate. We've been talking about who would you rather have going forward, Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. I'm obviously in the minority here. I'm sure 95% of our fans would take Deshaun Watson.
86% YouTube chat, over 1,000.
What percent?
86.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I get it. And obviously everybody else on the show would take Deshaun Watson. My point is the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson to win a Super Bowl now, and Russell Wilson would give him a better chance. Number one, he's healthy right now, and Watson's not. I think Wilson would give him a better chance the next year or two. I don't know. What do you say? What's your take as a Broncos guy?
Well, it's tough to say because I think when you look at both of these players, like in the last year, both players and the contracts, the trades that happened for them have been discussed as two of the worst trades in NFL history, considering what was given up versus what they've gotten from it. I think a lot of that was a big question for Russ coming into the season. What is he going to look like under Sean Payton? He's been decisively better so far this season. He's got one of the best touchdown interception ratios right now in the NFL. And the big part of this team's struggles early on in the season, the defense was giving up ridiculous amounts of yards on the ground. They were giving up a lot of points, explosive plays, and Russ and the offense were playing pickup. They're trying to catch up. And when you're down by 2 scores, you have to get a little desperate there. And Russ's numbers have been good. He facilitated, obviously, that comeback drive against the Bears in week 4 there. But, I look at the Browns as well. Just the experience with Deshaun Watson hasn't been what they've wanted it to do. And look, I think a lot of his struggles coming in and his first game action with the Browns, he hadn't played football in quite some time. It's been a while. And then you factor in injuries. He's never really had a chance to get his feet underneath him. So, I don't know who would be in a better situation. I think overall Russ has been healthier than Deshaun has been. You pair him up with that Browns defense right now with Myles Garrett, former Bronco Shelby Harris, and obviously those guys on the back end of that secondary. They're playing really well with Ward and obviously Delpit, Thornhill's there, and then obviously Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think Russ would have a lot of success in the Cleveland Browns offense, but who knows? That's a great question. I think for the fans, I think the fans will definitely have their preference as to who they want, but I don't know. It's a tough situation to be in because I know Deshaun at one point, before everything had come out about him, was linked as a potential guy going to Denver before everything had happened with Russ. So, it's crazy how both these teams' situations have played out.
Cody, right before the trade deadline, there was a whole bunch of talk about the Broncos selling the team. They had given up probably one of the worst, most points in games. The team just looked like they was going down. And for some odd way, they've turned it around and been able to pull off 4 straight wins. What has led to that? What are you seeing?
No, it's been crazy. If you would have asked me they were going to be 1-4, and all of a sudden we're sitting here, they're 5-5, and that they would have beaten the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Minnesota Vikings, who started off the season 0-4, and they went on a 5-game win streak of their own, I'd have been like, no, you're crazy. I think the biggest thing for Denver, they've made some changes. Right after that Miami Dolphins game, you give up over 700 yards of offense in one game. You give up 70 points, you lose by 50. It's embarrassing. That hasn't happened in the modern era here. And at that point, you have to have gut check time. You have to have some really hard conversations. And that's what Sean Payton told us. He said that he had hard conversations with players. They've made personnel changes overall. Now, a little bit of context here. When Vance Joseph was hired as the defensive coordinator this offseason, one of the things that he was asked to do was to run Vic Fangio's defense because that was what the Broncos defense was running under him, under Giro Evero last year. And the defense was having a lot of success under that. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. The problem with that is you're asking a defensive coordinator who's never called that type of defense before to call the defense that he's never called. So what we're now seeing, and part of the shift is Denver's made some personnel changes. At the nickel, they've moved Jaquan McMillan, who's forced a turnover in 3 straight games for the Broncos. He's been a huge surprise for them. They've made some additional changes. Well, sometimes they'll alternate between the 3-4 and the 4-3. They'll add Drew Sanders, rookie linebacker, alongside Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton. But mainly on the defensive line where they were getting gashed, they have Mike Purcell and DJ Jones starting next to Zach Allen. And then you have Baron Browning and Jonathan Cooper at outside linebacker. And they got rid of Randy Gregory. They got rid of Frank Clark. And they've made these widespread personnel changes, and they're paying off. And Justin Simmons obviously was missing some games early on in the season due to injury. He's been back. That's been part of it. So they're showing the Fangio looks, but they're calling Vance Joseph's actual defense that he has historically run. So that's been a big part of their recent success so far in the last 4 weeks.
Early in the season, Sean Payton, obviously got into a little bit of back and forth with, the New York Jets and different things like that. And probably wish he probably wouldn't have said those things. How has he settled in a little bit? He came out and he had those splashy words to say. And I think that may have been a little bit of a distraction as well. But how has he kind of reevaluated what he needs to do and the temperament he needs to have with the Broncos that has kind of turned things around?
Well, after that interview had released, we thought that was like an off-the-record conversation that somehow got published, but no, it wasn't. He had a couple of lattes in him, as he had said, and he expressed regret. He said, I shouldn't have said that. He said, I talk to the players all the time about not being a distraction, not putting things out there, and here I am putting things out there and doing that. So, he had to take that one on the chin. And obviously when the Jets won, that was a big win for them. But more so, it just kind of put those comments into perspective. It was a little bit of an ugly day for Denver in week 5 there, considering that. But, I think that's something you have to live with. You make that decision. You do something. You got to live with the consequences of it. But Sean Payton has been in complete and total control of the entire operation for what the Broncos do in their day-to-day, from how practice is run, from media availability, from everything like that. Really, it's just trying to get these guys to buy in. And one thing I've talked to with various players inside the locker room, they said really after those losses and the early stretch of the season, they had a gut check moment where they just said, you know what, it's just all about the guys in this locker room. We can't focus on what the media is saying locally or nationally. We can't focus on what the fan base is saying. We know what we can do. We know the potential that we have, and they've kind of bonded together, and they've stuck with it, and it's paid off for them, but they're going to have to find a way to sustain that. They can't do it doing the same things that they have been. Defensively, they've been better. They've been on the trajectory, but offensively, they've been really trying to get the run game going. It's going to be hard against Myles Garrett and that defensive line this upcoming Sunday.
It seemed like Javonte Williams is finally back to the guy he was maybe at the first half of last year before his injury. And it seems like the other guys, whether it's P. Ryan or I forget the other.
McLaughlin.
It seems like he's fully taken. I know P. Ryan had played a lot at the end last week when he had a bunch of catches. But is he now is he back to being the bell cow guy there?
Yeah, Javonte is. He's fully healthy coming off the ACL, which was good. He had a quad injury early on in the season, but he's been able to kind of work his way back into it, and he looks good. He feels good, and I think that's one of the things we're seeing him run with the physicality he ran with previously his rookie season, going into his second season before he tore his ACL, and so now he's got that confidence. But, Sean Payton and the Broncos, they really trust Javonte and Samaje Perine in the 2-minute drill. And obviously, as we've seen Samaje emerge as a little bit of a pass-catching threat out of the backfield because teams are really trying to take away Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. And so when the defense does that, okay, dump it off to Samaje Perine, who's demonstrated elusiveness after the catch and has been a reliable guy in their last 2 drives that they've had against the Buffalo Bills to come back and win, and obviously this past week against the Minnesota Vikings. So it's just a little bit of balance between them. And then Jaleel McLaughlin, he's just this explosive, flash-in-the-pan guy. He's not going to get a lot of looks during a game, but when you expect him to get, when he's on the field, expect him to get the football because he's so fast, can get upfield north-south, and then he can get behind a defense if there's an open hole. So he struggled the last couple of weeks, though, but the run game is the big emphasis for Denver going forward, and it's opening things up for Russell Wilson and the passing offense as well.
Cody, you got to watch the Browns a little bit last week, obviously with the new quarterback DTR in there, and you got to see how that offense looked against Pittsburgh. Is there anything that you saw that could be concerning for Denver, or do you think Denver should be able to shut down this Browns offense given what it seen last week?
It's going to be tough because I think the allure is when everyone talks about a rookie quarterback or a young guy like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, everyone's thinking like, okay, hey, he's a young guy. That means he's not going to, he's going to struggle. That's not always the case, right? And I think for DTR, he's got the capability. He's an unknown, right? So there's a chance that, he could struggle, or there's a chance that he could go out there and light it up. I mean, that's how the NFL is. We've seen it. Look at Tommy DeVito in New York. For the first couple of weeks, he looked awful, and all of a sudden he lights it up this past week. So you can never overlook anybody because of their experience in the NFL. I think one of Denver's biggest keys is to stop the run game for obviously Cleveland, obviously Kareem Hunt, Jerome Ford. They got to find a way to stop the bleeding in the run defense where they've given up over 170 yards in the last 2 games. If they can try to limit a little bit of that Browns rushing offense this week and maybe try to pressure and fluster a little bit of DTR, I like the matchup of Amari Cooper versus Patrick Surtain. I think that's going to be must-see TV. You got Bama versus Bama. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. Denver, I think the bigger question for them defensively this week, who's going to start at safety? Is P.J. Locke going to be back now that Kareem Jackson's been suspended for 4 games this season? Or is it going to be Delarian Turner-Yell, who has struggled when he's been placed into the lineup? To me, that's a huge key. But I think for the Broncos, trying to get a pass rush on DTR, if they are stopping the run game, is probably going to be paramount for them if they want to try to come away with a victory on Sunday.
The thing that stands out to me is the fact that, some of your numbers are, mid to below in terms of defensive numbers. But one number that stands out with me, and has been one big thing, is the takeaways. You look at that Buffalo Bills game. That game, I watched that game from start to end. Able to get turnovers and able to win that football game. Again, with the Minnesota Vikings, able to get turnovers early on in the game, set the tone. How have they been able to kind of, get turnovers, but, give up some yards here or there? Is it a bend but don't break type thing with the Broncos?
It kind of has been. To be honest with you, it's been crazy to see. Like, for example, if you talk about maybe like the last 3 weeks after that Buffalo game, in 3 weeks, they forced 12 total takeaways in that span of 3 weeks against, obviously, you talk about the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Bills. I mean, it's incredible to be able to do that, and it's hard to do that. But I think guys are trusting their technique. They're in position. They're rallying to the football. Guys are holding up, a ball carry on first contact. Other guys are coming over to rip the ball out. I mean, they're very disciplined in that regard. Justin Simmons has been good in terms of getting interceptions, being being in the right spot. Teams are going to try to throw away from Patrick Surtain a little bit. So, Fabian Moreau has been a guy that was tested, had an interception on Josh Allen. For them, I just think that their decision, their effort, their pursuit to the football, it's something they work on every day in practice when we get a watch. That has stood out to them, but they've just got this energy and this confidence with one another. They have trust. They're communicating a lot more, and they weren't communicating much at the beginning of the season, and that's why we were seeing a lot of big plays. So I think they've got their rhythm right now. They've got the formula that's working for them, and if they can find a way to stop the run, I think that they're going to be even better to close out the second half of the season, which makes, I think, the playoff race inside the AFC very, very interesting here down the stretch.
Cody, good stuff, man. We'll look forward to the game this Sunday. Check out Cody, Locked On Broncos podcast. We appreciate the time, man. Take care. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank
Thanks,
you. Mikey, let's go to you before we talk some Cavs.
Let's do it, guys. As you guys know, after the game each Sunday, or really at the 2-minute warning each Sunday, myself, G. Bush, and our other Pearl are there for a 2-minute warning show. And guess what?
At the 2-minute warning, you and Anthony are there.
Fair. That's actually
G and
very
Earl, they need more time because they're losing their minds.
Yes.
Deservedly
Yes.
so.
I was there kind of at 2 minutes this time.
Oh, you were?
G was there this week, yeah. We were there this
That's
week.
impressive considering how stressful the end of the game was.
Yes.
I did my best to keep a poker face.
Oh,
I was
my
watching
God.
I was watching the Jumbotron, and
Right.
G was watching, because our TVs were actually synced up.
Yep.
But I was watching
Oh.
the Jumbotron, which is a minute and a half ahead of TV. So I did my best.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a minute and a half.
Wait, you was
It's-
at your game?
No, but I can see the Jumbotron from my apartment.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So when I got
You can
on,
hear
he
the
was like-
crowd, too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna give my best poker face because they were kicking the field goal right
Yeah.
at the end, and so he was like, I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen, but there is a flag down. But
Yeah.
that flag does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
It's tough. It's tough, but we have fun.
Yeah.
It is the #1 post-game show in all of Cleveland, and we go for about an hour, hour and a half. Each time we read Super Chats, we do the whole 9 yards, talk about everything that needs to be discussed in the aftermath, and no one's better at doing it than G and Earl, and I just play point guard, so appreciate those guys. Tune in if you haven't checked it out, and we appreciate y'all. Last night, Bull, I'm glad that we're all here today because all of our eyes, everyone here, everyone watching at home, if you turn on to the Cavaliers game last night, you may need like a 48-hour rest from any screen because of how ugly the 76ers score
Oh,
was.
my God,
Thank
that was
goodness
the
the
worst.
Cavs were able to pull it out. Craig Porter Jr. played a massive game. And if you want to pull up the game montage, Steve, which is number
I gotta
196,
say,
you're gonna
Cavs
see the
need
court.
more nationally televised.
I gotta
games.
say, because the only time I can watch it.
Exactly.
Because I don't have the stupid Bally's app. And I said I wasn't going to watch the Cavs in the regular season this year. I did watch some of yesterday's game.
Hypocrite.
I did. I lied. I watched some of it. But I could barely watch because this whole thing, first of all, the court's a disgrace.
I kind of like it.
You like it? I hate it. And then as soon as they started talking about, well, the Cavs are in Group B and blah, 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 I
I don't know what
shutting
none
this
of
off.
that means.
I don't give a rat's ass about any of that. It's so dumb.
It's just regular season games that they put emphasis on that don't really mean that
Do
much.
the players care?
$500,000.
No,
some
most
people
of them do not.
I mean, it's just a regular season game with different courts.
You think LeBron gives a crap about these stupid tournaments?
Well, they need to start putting in people like Imani Bates who
I mean, look at
Thank
that.
you.
who will go kill somebody for $500,000.
Yeah, like this should be.
Probably
this,
would, yeah.
Yeah, this should be. Put Monty Bates and them boys in there. I
They
bet
should
you
put
they
all the
would.
G Leaguers.
That's what
Yes.
they should
Well,
do.
hold on. They did put in Craig Porter Jr. yesterday, and that's where I wanted to go with this, Steve.
Yeah.
You can drop the court. I don't want to kill everyone's
Nobody
eyes who's
cares
watching the
about
show. But
Oh, we
Craig
care.
Porter
Oh, we
Jr.
care.
Craig Porter Jr.
Yeah.
has not just been a summer league sensation.
Played
Yeah.
He's
27.
come in and he gets 50 games as part of a two-way contract before the Cavs have to sign him off the G League to a
Yeah.
full one-way NBA contract. He's making a push to not just play legitimate regular season minutes, and it's too early to think playoff rotations yet, but he brings an element to the Cavs that they don't have elsewhere.
Is he
And
the
what he's
Cavs-
done in 3 games.
Mike, is he the Cavs' Jeremy Lin?
No.
No, because Jeremy Lin, what he did, as fun as Linsanity was,
Yeah.
That
you could see long-term it wasn't sustainable. What Craig Porter Jr.
A
does,
6-foot guy who can't shoot? You see something?
but it's not like he's making shots. Right now, he's getting to the rim and doing what he's always
Okay.
done, which is why I do think what he's doing is sustainable. And 2 things that stand out. One, he's the only guy in the perimeter that even gives it half-ass effort on defense, which the Cavs desperately need. And 2, he's a tenacious attacker of the rim, and he's not just looking for a shot. And some guys, and G, you know this, all they want to do is get to the rim, put up a shot, pray it goes in. He drives, and he's actually looking to dish. And last night, the game-winning bucket, which was a Jared Allen floater, came off a reversal to Craig Porter Jr. with about 6 seconds on the shot clock. He attacks Embiid, makes Embiid make a decision. Embiid steps up, dumps it to Allen for the game-winning shot. And he's made a couple decisions in crunch time, not just up 30 against the Nuggets in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left. I'm talking a tie game of overtime yesterday where it really makes you think, this dude could legitimately ball, and it's not just a mirage from early season, regular season play. He can really play.
So, what about when teams actually play in the playoffs?
Well,
Will he be able to get those hoops in the basket?
McNuggets was just saying, what I was saying, it was that they should get rid of Donovan Mitchell because Craig Porter Jr. is here.
That's not what I said.
That's what he was alluding to.
I think he was. I'm with you.
Stop playing.
That's what he said. You didn't hear
Take
that?
the trade
That's
back
what
and you can do it right now.
No, I'm not taking the trade back. Here's the thing. What you said with Craig Porter Jr. is one of the things that I look at when I'll be watching basketball. Your job in the NBA is to continually be developing guys. And a lot of times people want to get these big threes together and they want to just say keep it as is and let's just get the big three with about 5 or 6 old guys to round out the roster.
Right.
That's not how you win.
Especially for a team like the Cavs that can't attract big free agents.
You need to get guys and develop them like this guy. So I'll give it an example. Fred VanVleet.
He light-skinned.
Fred VanVleet was a big part of what the Toronto Raptors wanted to do. They got Pascal Siakam, which they developed. They went out and got Kawhi Leonard. They had Valanciunas, right?
Look at the Heat last year.
The Heat were able to do some of those things too, and they're developing their guys. My thing is, these are perfect games to be playing young guys. And this is a note to you, JB. If you got guys injured and you got Karis LeVert out, you got Donovan Mitchell out, you got Isaac Okoro who's been out, Ricky Rubio probably not coming back. This is your opportunity to be. Yeah, he's still there.
That boy's stealing.
You should be playing young guys. We don't want to see Dean Wade.
Dean Wade didn't score a bucket.
In fairness, though, they've beaten the last 2 MVPs in back-to-back games.
And guess what? In one of the games, Porter had 21 points.
Yeah.
Like
that boy looked like Timo Cruz.
Monty Bates play any minutes yesterday?
Double check. Do not believe he played a minute yesterday.
DMP.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Here's the thing. You know what Dean Wade is going to give you, and you know he's not going to be able to give you them buckets in the playoffs. I don't know why they signed him to a long-term deal.
Who?
Dean Wade.
Wait, what's his deal?
He's not out a ton of money,
is it? $32 million.
What? I don't think it was that much. Real quick, I'll look it up in 1 second.
Yeah, look that up.
I will. In yesterday's game, the Cavs won by 3, right, Bull? And this is not a perfect stat for your impact on the game. Teams get hot, whatnot, but box score plus minus gives you at least an idea of when a team was at a best in a certain game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through every player who played yesterday and their plus minus for the Cavs.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dean Wade, minus 12. Mobley, minus 4. Allen, minus 6. Garland, plus 4. Strus, minus 4. Niang, plus 12. Thompson, plus 4. Craig Porter Jr., plus 21 in 27 minutes. When he's on the court, and part of it's due to his defensive effort. They're much better defensively when he's out there, prohibiting a guy like Tyrese Maxey, who's really good at attacking, which forces Allen Mobley to step up. Garland, bless his soul, is not a defensive threat whatsoever. He's kind of an Ole guy. He plays defense, and he makes a smart basketball play. And I know he's a smaller guy. He's not a great shooter.
Well,
at the end of the day, if you give me enough guys who make the right basketball play, who do I what?
What do you
keep serious minutes when guys come back?
He's earned that.
I'm not saying he's going to start. I just think he's a guy that you came into this season thinking he's probably going to play 20 games, spend most of his time in the G League, and he's carved out a role with Ricky Rubio, not expected to be back.
Yeah.
He should come on.
He deserves to play.
He should be the backup point guard that comes in the game whenever they going up against a good point guard that can score. He should be the one that comes in off the bench and spares the starting point guard because obviously DG is not great at defense.
Dean Wade's contract, 3 years, $19 million.
Still bad. I don't know why. I mean, couldn't you get a guy off the street that could do what Dean Wade does?
Yeah.
Dude, I bet you in Rucker Park in New York right now,
wait a minute.
There's 20 guys that can play better than Dean
Wait
Wade.
a minute.
I guarantee it.
Straight off the street, basketball is a heck of a skill. Like, you can't just come in there and just
I'm not talking about guys like me. I'm talking about guys at the big parks in Harlem and the Bronx.
It's still different.
Other parts of Manhattan.
It's still different.
Those guys can street ball.
I think it's still different.
Better than this guy.
Let me not disrespect him.
I'm about to
all the
say,
way. He's six. Like he about, how about is Dean Wayne about 6'9"? Something.
He plays
Dean
like
Wade's 6'8", 6'9", yeah.
6'8", 6'9". He can hit a 3-point shot. But here's my thing: you should be getting guys. You should be developing, and this is the problem I see with JB Bickerstaff. He's, you can say I'm trying to win and I'm going, all with the veterans and doing, bro. Only way you saving what you're trying to do is you play these young kids and you go to them and say, look, I didn't develop Monty Bates, I didn't develop Porter Jr., I didn't develop these guys. These guys are in my rotation because you've already, what Tristan Thompson is, what Isaac Okoro is, what Dean Wade is. Like, come on, let's be clear. And you cannot play. In his rotations, McNuggets, I saw him the other day, he had Niang, Strus, Dean Wade, and Garland in the game at the same time. I said, bro, that lead went from 17 to about 6 in a heartbeat.
Not a good defensive lineup.
Let's face it, G. The Cavs have always been bad at developing guys that were lower draft picks or free agents. They've never been good at it. They are the Cavs are a lottery ball away from being one of the worst franchises in the history of sports. Dang. If they didn't get LeBron, they would never have won anything. This franchise has done zilch when they haven't had LeBron. I think they have 2 playoff series wins, maybe 3, in the history of the franchise without LeBron. They've never done anything. They had a nice team with Price and Doherty, but those guys didn't. It was a nice team. But they didn't do anything. I think they won 1 series, maybe 2 in their whole time together.
They lost to Jordan.
Whatever. A lot of other guys lost to. The Pistons lost to Jordan. The Celtics lost to Jordan, but they also beat Jordan. Let's go.
There's a
this organization.
I can't believe you go sit there. And they beat Jordan, 1 time?
Who?
The Pistons.
I don't know how many times they beat him.
They have, real quick, I just did the math. They have 4.
Twice.
The Cavs have 4 playoff series wins
without LeBron.
4?
In how many years? 50?
Since 1971.
and so
40-something years without LeBron. 50. They average 1 playoff series win every decade without LeBron.
McNuggets, this is what got me. This is what got me. This is what I didn't like at all. I just didn't like some of the OGs in the whole organization preaching to us that 50 wins was something.
No, yeah.
They kept I was just and they was adamant. It was like it was adamant. They act like the organization gave them their written notes and handed it in and said, this is what you say when you ask about the Knicks. And for me, I was like, guys, we just had LeBron James.
Yeah.
Guys, we went to 4 straight finals.
Yeah.
Let's not act like we're an organization without training wheels. Let's act like we want to be competitive, and people talk, well, 51 wins means something. No, it don't.
Because nobody else is playing in the regular season.
No, if you go ask LeBron James what 51 wins means.
He don't care about that.
None of the good players do.
You just need to get to the dance.
And so for me, I just, we are, I be watching, man, these guys they are the nicest group of guys I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
They might even be nice to home invaders.
Is Evan Mobley, now that we're what? How many games in are we, Mike?
The Cavs
14.
8-6, so 14 games.
Okay, so now that we're almost at the quarter pole of the season, we're at the 20% mark of the season, has Evan Mobley taken any steps forward since last year?
No.
Yes. No, that's not true. He has, but it's baby steps. And we expected, especially in year 3, if this guy was going to be the cornerstone part of your franchise that you thought he could be, you needed to see more from where he was last year to where he is this year.
Is that on him or is that on JB?
It's on him. Listen, great players, and then you go, Bull. But great players, if you make the step necessary, you will find the ball. The ball will find you. He just is too inconsistent and too fast.
Agree.
Did you think Mobley was going to be great coming out of college?
I did. I loved him.
You did, even before you
moved
to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So compared to where you thought he'd be by now, how far behind is he behind where you thought he'd be when he first came into the league?
Listen, he's a good defensive player.
You thought did you think he'd be an all-star by now?
I thought he'd be in the conversation to be an all-star, and he's not in that conversation.
Now, notice what McNuggets said.
Yeah.
He said he's a good defensive player. He has to be elite to justify.
He's not elite on defense?
He's a very good he's a good defensive player. I think he's still got room to grow, but he's a good defensive player. But offensively,
You notice he didn't say great.
No, and he wasn't elite when it mattered.
That's because he's
This
not.
team played great defense in the regular season last year.
If he was elite, he would have to be able to play center without Jared Allen and still
there it
hold
is.
the paint
Boom.
down.
Right
Everything
there.
outside,
Fair.
he could do everything
G-Boy.
else but that.
Here's the thing with Evan Mobley, and I cannot stress this enough. He is an elite help defender. An elite help defender.
Come on, McNuggets.
He is not an elite point of attack defender.
Well, that
Guys
means,
score at will at him on the rim.
and
I'm
does
telling
that go back to what you were saying that he's soft?
that
or
means
that they're soft?
Well, he-
if there was one thing, look, you got to think about it. We was talking about whether he was Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, all that stuff. When you talk about KG was the spear. He was the tip of the spear defensively. He created the lockdown badge. Like, that was part of what he did. If you just being a help side defender,
He talk you out
that's-
your game.
That just means you Nnamdi Asomugha. You good you can't man nobody up. You just
Tyvus Nandi.
cover 2 lockdown.
Namdi was
That's a great pull, G.
No, it
Great
wasn't.
pull.
No, it wasn't. Because
I love that
Namdi was terrible in zone. Namdi was great in man-to-man.
Well,
For the first
Way
5
better
yards.
than your Deshaun Watson, Kevin Love comparison.
That's the same
That was a
thing.
terrible comparison.
Was
But
it bad?
Tyvus, you've played pickup before, and G, I know you have ball. I'm not sure if you.
Oh, I'm a lockdown
I've
defender.
never played pickup basketball in my life.
Not when it matters.
I'm a lock.
But like,
What does that mean? Not when it
gonna
matters.
tell you
when's the
right
last
now.
time you played pickup basketball?
When I tore my Achilles 12 years ago.
Okay, sorry. Ball.
It doesn't matter?
I apologize.
Why does that not matter?
I'm
Well,
a
I
lock.
guess my point is,
I'm a lock.
well, you've been in a game, and this is any level of basketball, and let's say you're picking teams, right, G?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone's the 4th pick. If they start making shots, eventually you just start feeding them the ball naturally because you know they
They
run
go
you or
hit.
something.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Tyrese Matt, you name any of the guards. If they trust the big man to throw the ball and he's going to be able to get a bucket, the ball goes to the big man.
He gonna get
I'm
that.
telling you,
That
it goes
is
to the big
true,
man. And I've
actually.
watched 14 games.
Yeah.
I've watched last season. You can tell me they don't try to centralize the offense around him enough. They run too much pick and roll. All that's probably true. But I've played enough basketball in my life to know that if a player is good enough where the guys trust him to do something with it, he's going to get the ball. The only players they don't pass the ball to are guys you don't trust to do anything with it.
Right.
And we've seen enough of a sample size now to where I just don't think the guards or the coaching staff trust in Evan Mobley to do a damn thing when he gets the ball unless it's dunk.
2 things that, real quick, guys,
And then we
want
got
your,
Ohio State.
want your opinion on, and then we're going to switch to Ohio State.
Go
We'll have to
Bucks.
talk about these longer next time.
Go Bucks.
And I fully admit, because I'm not a phony like a lot of people in this business, that I am not an NBA authority. I don't watch a lot of NBA. This is a novice opinion, all right? I'm keeping it real.
All right.
When keeping it real
Number
goes wrong.
1, this Cavs team has 0 shot of doing anything in the playoffs.
Sheesh.
They're soft. They don't play defense when it matters. They're too small at guard. They don't have enough good shooters. I don't think they're anything. I think they're going to lose. Even if they make it, they're going to lose. They're not winning a round. And I hate to
You know what? That's a fair.
That's
I hate
That's
to crap
fair to
on them when they
assume
won
that
2 in a row,
actually.
And number 2, and I'll rip myself too because I thought it was brilliant at the time. But if I could take the Donovan Mitchell trade back now, if I could reverse it right now, I would absolutely do it because Markkanen is probably just as good a player as Donovan Mitchell, right? Is he, or am I crazy?
Mitchell's one step higher.
But
but
so
they're
you
both
look,
all-stars.
But he's close enough that you would have other assets and other draft picks, and he might fit better on this team, no?
I mean, the three
Well,
big lineup is devastating.
I would
you have
say
3 7-footers.
I would say that it would be successful because Darius Garland would have never been in that situation where he's trying to figure out what he needs
Yeah.
to do. Like
Darius Garland
he
was
would be.
going-
You're the point guard, no matter what.
Darius
That's what it
Garland's
is.
star was on the rise.
It was.
And it leveled off
It
because of
did.
this, I think.
Yes, it did.
But again, I'm not an authority.
And last night, no Donovan Mitchell. He dropped
well.
what he dropped 32.
32 yesterday.
Yeah.
And they don't have a coach that could understand, okay, well, I have some deficiencies on my team. Let me work on my rotations. Let me make sure that this guy and this guy is on the floor together. Let me develop a guy. I mean, listen, if you got a dude that's an elite, that's long as an elite shot maker, that can take the difficult shots and make them, I'm going to have to play that guy over playing these regular guys that when people are hurt. I can understand if you got your whole team ready. But I just don't think – and then here's the thing, too. No offense. No offense. Mikey, they run no sets. That you can't tell me. You talk about Stefanski. I don't know what they are running. JB just sits there with his arms crossed and he pace back and forth.
It's all variations of different pick and rolls.
That's it.
It's different variations, different ways to get into it. But we're going to spend way more time on the Cavs coming up. We got to talk a little Ohio State here. And Jay Stevens today is brought to us by PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Ohio State, Michigan this weekend, and that means Jay Stevens is here to help us preview the big game. What's up, Jay?
What's up, guys? Happy to be back.
Jay, good to have you. I've already riled up Browns fans with the whole Russell Wilson-Watson thing, which will be spun out of control. Mm-hmm. I've already riled up Cavs fans. I'm sure Earl's got to be losing his mind over what I just said about Donovan Mitchell. And let's make it 3 for 3. Ohio State better win this freaking game or I'm firing Ryan Day's ass. I don't care about any other games. This is the only game that matters. He could beat Purdue and Indiana and Illinois till the cows come home. They don't matter. Everybody, they're coming off bad right now. I mean, Michigan obviously comes off bad because they're cheaters. But like they blasted them for cheating. Good. Michigan's a bunch of cheaters. Screw them. Screw Harbaugh. Now they got to beat them. There's no excuse. They got to beat them. They got to kick their ass, or everybody's going to pick on them. And Ryan Day and his rosy cheeks get fired the hell out of here. That's it. I don't want to hear it, Jay. Fire his ass if they lose this game.
You know, Bull, I didn't know you were applying to be the new AD at Ohio State with G. Smith retiring, so that's news to me as well. But this game to me, man, it's big. It's big no matter what. But if you want to look at Ryan Day first, you don't want to be the coach at Ohio State who loses 3 in a row. Like, you don't want that to be on your resume. I wouldn't say fire him, but definitely there may be some conversations about what does Ohio State need to change to win this game. I don't know if firing Ryan Day is the answer if Ohio State is on the losing end of this contest.
He ain't getting fired. I'm telling you, he got the number 2 recruiting class. They're not fired.
What does that mean? If they can't beat Michigan, who cares?
But you can recruit well.
Jimbo Fisher just got fired with $76 million
and by the way,
contract. They
his
had the number
55-6 record.
Like 5 years ago.
Dude.
2 years ago.
You could hire right now Tyvus to be head coach of Ohio State, G. Bush to be DC, Earl could be offensive coordinator, I'll be the special teams coach, Mike will be the ball boy.
I'm strength and conditioning. Steve's
will
the ball boy.
Will be the ball, I don't know. Anthony will be the ball boy, and Steve will be the team doctor, and Ohio State, in those 61 games, would still win 52. Maybe 48.
That's kind of right.
First of all,
I had no idea you were that kind of coach.
Just run this play right here.
First of all, if I'm the head coach, we gonna win every game.
There you go, Tyvus.
I like that confidence right there. I love that.
We gonna win every. All right, Jay, coming into this game, obviously, Ohio State's been dinged up at some positions. Do you know the availability? Will they be at full strength, or will they miss some key guys? What do you know?
I do believe that Ryan Day recently said that everyone's available on defense except for Lathan Ransom. Even Devin Brown, the backup quarterback who got a little bit of run in short yardage situations earlier in the season, he is practicing more this week. So looks like everybody's healthy. We knew earlier this week, Mike Hall came out and said he's playing. We found out last week that Tommy Eichenberg could have played in the game against Minnesota, but Ryan Day held him out. But having everybody back except Lathan Ransom is huge. Of course, if you have Lathan Ransom out there, that's a game changer when he's out there playing safety. But health is key for this game. The Buckeyes have had injuries to key players, Ransom being out, Mike Hall. Tyleik Williams has been dinged up a little bit, but still out there on the field. Denzel Burke has missed time. Henderson's missed time. Mayan Williams is out for the season. Got Abuka as well. They've had injuries to key guys this year, and it's good to see you're almost at full strength, almost. One key guy is out. One guy out, I believe, in the biggest game of the year.
Jay, man, here's why I look at it.
Y'all two is sick.
Hey, let's have it, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for
So
it.
out of pocket.
Hey, last year we talked about it, man. We know what
Yeah.
Michigan's going. We already know what Michigan's going to do. They're going to line up with them real tight splits with all the fat boys in the world up front, aggressive fat boys, and they're going to put hands on you, and you going to have to stop it. So I mean, I'm looking at the defensive. Listen, I like what the ends do. JTT is okay. Tyvis, that's his man. I know JTT. He's more of a, I don't know if he's completely explosive.
He's my man.
He's his guy, but I need to see something as far as impact defensive tackle. I haven't seen one at Ohio State in years. Give me one of them big nasty dudes from down south. I'm looking at the guys that you say in the middle, D tackles. You can't. Hey, we can't run the ball against them. I haven't seen that in a minute. So I want to see if they understand what this game talking about up front, because we know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna be able to stop them?
You know, this is the first time that I have heard anybody just describe JTT as just okay. I know, G, you're a good evaluator of football, but just saying he's okay, I wasn't expecting that. But one thing I am expecting, though, is that Ohio State's interior front is going to be able to slow down Michigan's rush attack. And I'm not saying completely stop it where they're only giving up 1.5 yards per carry, but I do think they'll be able to slow it down and really mess up the offensive plan that Michigan has. Tyleik Williams, having Mike Hall back is huge, but also Ty Hamilton's been playing good football on the interior, especially against the run. So you got JTT. Jack Sawyer's coming off a phenomenal game a week ago against Minnesota, so he's riding high. But also I'm curious to see, you talk about those tight splits and all the fat boys that are going to be out there. I am going to be curious to see how much Cody Simon plays in this game at linebacker, because he's been playing very well. Got to start a week ago with Eichenberg being out. You got Eichenberg back. You got Chambers. But I wonder, do they do a 4-3 look, or is it Simon coming in situational different periods during the game saying, hey, Simon come in, Chambers come out, or vice versa? I'm curious there, and I'm also curious, do they find a way to bring Sonny Styles closer to the line of scrimmage, even with Ransom out of the game? So I do believe that Ohio State can slow down Michigan's rush attack. But once again, I got to go back to that comment I made earlier. Just describing JTT as okay.
Well, let me give you this. 2021, 2.5 sacks. 2022, 3.5 sacks. He put another half sack on. He got 4 sacks. He's 4 whole sacks.
So what does he do against the run, though? What does he do against the run? He got sack numbers.
He got a lot of. He got 30 total tackles. He got 11 solos. But he get paid. This is for the land of the Bosas. This is sack master you. We gotta have more. We gotta have more play. And by the way, I'm looking at the competition he's playing. He's supposed to dominate. You got Rutgers, Michigan State, Minnesota, Wisconsin ain't no good. I need to see them plays. I need to see pressure on the quarterback and getting the football out. Tyvis told me he was a top 10 pick. He said he was top 15. I said, okay, I got you, Tyvis.
Check the mock draft.
I did.
Hey, I mean, Tyvis ain't lying to you. He's giving you the right information.
I just need to see more production from a guy like that, man. I need to see that.
Speaking of production, Kyle McCord, what do you think? What's your, obviously it's his first year starting. He's had some up and down games this year. Obviously, as great as CJ was, he never got it done. Can Kyle McCord do something CJ Stroud could not?
Can he? Yes. I do believe the answer to that off the top is yes, he can get it done. And I do believe it's not just because Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be on the field. He gets Emeka Egbuka back and healthier than he's been over the past few weeks. And we have seen what those two players have done together and the connection that they have on the field and the chemistry that they have built through practices in the offseason and this year during games. I think back to that Notre Dame game. Who got them down to the 1-yard line? A Kyle McCord throw to Emeka Egbuka in traffic. Emeka Egbuka caught the ball, held on to the ball, didn't lose it. Next thing you know, Chip Trayanum's going across the goal line for a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown at the end of that game. So, yeah, I do believe Tyvis that he can get it done. He's been getting better, a lot better over the past few weeks. He's had some setbacks first year being QB1, but that's expected at times. But the numbers up there were I think he has 2,800 passing yards, four interceptions on the season. Don't know the touchdown total, but he's done good things when he's out there on the field. No, he is not Stroud. No, he's not Justin Fields, not Dwayne Haskins. He's Kyle McCord. He is his own style of quarterback, and ultimately, I do believe him being himself and playing the type of ball that he is preparing to play is good enough to lead Ohio State to the victory on Saturday.
Is there any chance if that his relationship with Marvin Harrison, the fact that they're so close, played a factor into why he's the starter here?
Dang, that's a conspiracy theory.
Right. We're going back to stuff that I heard back in April, in May, and even in February. I think he won the job. I literally think he won the job outright. Even the quarterback competition went into the season. Even though he started those two games, Devin Brown had a shot to win the quarterback competition. Didn't happen. Yeah. So, no, I'm not going to go down that storyline.
They're really tight, right? They're really, really close friends.
Oh, yeah.
They've been playing with each other in high school.
Listen, Jay, I'll give him credit. I said he was trash.
Oh,
I called Kyle McCord trash before the season. He's not trash. He's not. Like he's
Hold on. So he's not trash, but JTT's okay. What's your true thought or opinion analysis of Kyle McCord if he's not trash, but JTT just got
Well, here's the thing. Because Kyle McCord, after the spring game, had such a low bar. I was like, if they want to play that guy, they're not going to be able to get where they need to go.
Okay.
He's shown me some stuff. He's made some throws. I thought he played really well against Notre Dame down the back stretch. I thought he's made some throws. I think he's done his job. And I do think that he's given Marvin Harrison an opportunity to make certain plays. See, I like to spoon feed people. Like he was trying to spread it around and get it. Stover's had a good year too. But here's the thing. I need you to spoon feed Marvin Williams and Marvin Harrison. Yeah. So he basically spoon fed him. He's getting him more involved. But he's going to have to make about 3 to 4 big-time throws to keep Michigan honest. And if he can make 3 to 4 big-time throws, they can win this football game. The best guy, Travion Henderson is basically what I believe they should be running the rock. He's healthy as he's been in a long time. Mm-hmm. He's been running the ball really well, running strong. He has that burst back. So I think you work off that, the play action, and hit Marvin Harrison Jr., you ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I'm there with you. You got to run the ball. Ryan Day knows that he's been talking about the emphasis on running the ball as well, so I think that's a part of their game plan. And I've also – so when Henderson was healthy and cleared to play and got the starting job, didn't never lose it. He just was unhealthy.
Yeah.
When he came back on the field – he was a lone guy out there running the ball. It wasn't really a true 2-back system or even a 3-back system. It was Henderson is the guy. He's going to be our guy to run the ball 20-plus times, multiple games in a row in the middle of the regular season. And I'm like, maybe Ryan Day is preparing Henderson not just to see how healthy he is, but preparing him for the long stretch leading into the playoffs where Ryan Day generally at times leans on one running back to get the job done. 2019, J.K. Dobbins. 2020, Trey Sermon. Ryan Day wants to lean on one guy, and we're seeing Henderson, a fully healthy Henderson, play the best ball that he's played at Ohio State. And I saw some numbers past 4 or 5 games he's had. Numbers are stupid. I'm like, oh, my gosh, this guy's just doing some insane things on the football field, but he's healthy. But also, it's not just his health. He's grown as a football player, and some of the things that he was not doing well, he is now doing those very well. So he's growing, but health for him is key. But more important than his health is just his growth as a running back and as a college football player. I think he needs to have 100 to 125 rushing yards in this game for Ohio State to have a shot to win the game. Now, you may want to say, Jay needs to have 150 or 160. Great. I understand why you may say that. But I think 100 to 125 rushing yards in this game for Henderson puts Ohio State in a realistic spot and gives them a chance to win the contest.
Jay, 2 things. What's your prediction? What's your final prediction for the score? And how does Marvin Harrison win the Heisman?
So let's do the second one first, and I got a score in my head. I had it in there for a couple of days. for him to win the Heisman, I'm thinking you got to probably have 12 to 15 catches, 250, 300 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, like, because he's a receiver, and you got to have that type of big-time game here at this point in the season. If he had, say, 16 or 17 touchdowns right now and 1,400 receiving yards or 1,500 receiving yards with 80 catches, it'd be different. I think, over 1,000 receiving yards, 62 receptions. He's going to have like a stupid, enormous, monstrous game for that to happen. I don't think it's in the cards. I don't think Ryan Day is going to want to call his number that many times, because I don't think they need to. But for the score prediction, Tyvis, I got Ohio State winning. If you asked this a couple weeks ago, I would have had Ohio State losing this game. But I think my belief in this team, I said it going into Notre Dame, I said it going into Penn State, I've said it all year. I believe in this defense. I believe in what these guys have done all season long on the football field. And JTT, Jack Sawyer, Tommy Eichenberg, Denzel Burke, all the guys on defense, they have been playing phenomenal football. So I believe in the defense, and I believe that they will get the job done. Also, offensively, this is a chance for the Buckeyes offense, fully healthy. Abuka's back, Harrison Jr.'s back, to do some phenomenal things as well. I don't think they'll score over 24 points. I got Ohio State winning 24-10. Michigan fans, you'll hate that. Ohio State fans, you'll love that. But I believe in this defense, and I believe in it in such a way that I believe that they will give Michigan fits all afternoon long.
Jay, good stuff, man. Enjoy the game. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate it.
Mike, are we doing more Ohio State in overtime or no? Because otherwise we should just predict the game ourselves.
We're going to predict it on Friday.
Oh, that's true. We still got Friday.
Yeah, we'll do a little double show.
Real quick, have you heard about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s brother? Supposedly he's even better than him.
Better,
That's what he said.
What I don't understand, first of all, Jet is
How?
his name.
Yeah.
How?
They're saying he was at his age. He was better than
Marvin
is now.
Harrison Jr.
Or Marvin was at
said
his
that
age.
his little brother Jet is going to be way.
By the
better
way,
than
his brother's already 19 and he's only a junior in high school.
Who?
According to this, he's a
No,
junior.
he can't be 19 and a junior in high school.
I'm reading this article here. It says his birthday was June 4th, which is the same birthday as me.
They
So
got
shout out to
COVID
Jet
years?
Harrison. 2004, unless that's a mistake. Says he's a junior at St. Joseph's
That's crazy.
Preparatory
Katz
School,
was born
which
in
means he's not going to
2004
graduate till he's 21.
That's crazy. I haven't heard that.
I mean,
Anthony says
maybe
it's
that's a
true.
mistake. Maybe they got the wrong
Wildest
year on
thing
that.
I've
but-
ever heard.
Is he going to Ohio State? Do we know yet?
We haven't made a decision. They haven't made a decision.
What you gonna do about
Even
that,
if you-
Tyvis?
Yeah,
Ain't you
let's
working
go
with-
collective. Go
Ain't you
collect
working with him?
Should you be collecting him?
I got right now. I'm an analyst on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports
That's
Show.
true.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
true.
okay. I see.
All right.
We
And
got a
one
new
other thing,
jingle
there was a
from
Browns
Eddie.
note. Did you see the Browns note?
The practice report.
Joe Flacco.
Browns have designated. Oh, I didn't see that. Browns have designated linebacker Jordan Kanasic for return from injured reserve.
Yep.
And they've signed safety Deron Harmon to the practice squad.
And
Go ahead.
a little injury update. Not expected to practice today. Grant Delpit dealing with a thigh. Marquise Goodwin still with the concussion. Thornhill with the calf. Anthony Walker with the hamstring. And Denzel Ward with the shoulder. Not sure if those are just precautionary. Some veterans have been getting days off on Wednesdays. So
something we got to talk about on Friday. The Browns at safety are a mess right now.
getting thin.
Their
Getting
number
thin.
one safety is out. Their number two safety, Delpit, is missing practice. Their number three safety is out for the year, and their number four safety is an undrafted rookie from
The Ohio State University. Go Bucks.
All right,
Ronnie
we got
Hickman.
super chats, and we missed a couple yesterday because we had to wrap up. Before we do that, we have a jingle from our guy Eddie.
Yeah, we
for
haven't heard from
PCC.
Eddie in a while.
They make airfoils. They're the best in all the world. You will win with PCC, I can guarantee.
Nice job, Eddie.
You always
Got
got
a good
it.
singing voice, man.
He
does.
He definitely always got them.
All right, super chats. Y'all ready?
Yes.
These are from yesterday. We
Okay.
apologize, didn't get a
Go
chance
ahead.
to read them.
Stop
But
wasting time. Let's go. Get to him, Mike.
Simple says, can we keep rocking the white face masks? G?
You like those? You're the face mask
Yeah,
guy.
I like them. I like multiple helmets. I like to switch it up with the face mask.
Multiple.
I like
All right.
those.
Tyvis, thumbs up from you or no?
I like white face masks, especially
All right,
on the
both
orange.
both give the thumbs up. I don't care.
Next up from
But I like
Set
it.
Apart Laz said, the storyline is perfect to win it all. Let's go Browns.
Let's go
Charles
Browns.
T said, the Browns have dealt with a Chubb injury, They lost their right tackle, left tackle, starting quarterback. G. New and Winfrey getting robbed. And Cheesecake Factory Girl, Browns are ready for any adversity.
Cheesecake Factory Girl. He hilarious.
Corey McLaughlin says,
Factory Girl.
shout out to the butthurt Ravens fans that are still in the chat. If
still-
you're a Ravens fan and you're still in the chat, you have problems.
We have Ravens fans in the chat. We have opposing fans.
Listen, Ravens fans be in there tough,
Nice.
man. Y'all just like us. We got Knicks
Remember
fans.
Tuna?
that's
Have you
there.
ever met Tuna?
Yeah,
Tuna?
man. Yeah. Knicks fans still be in there from basketball. Ravens
Oh,
fans.
really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is kind of a compliment, though. If
Yeah,
fans
sure.
from other
They
teams
care what
come
we're
and
saying.
stick around and watch us, we must be a little bit
Yeah, go
entertaining.
ahead.
Kenny Moss said the Steelers' schedule is weak. They might be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
And then let's get to today's Super Chats.
Well, Browns fans got to be rooting for the Bengals this week.
Yes,
Unless
they
you
do.
think the Bengals can make a run. I'd be rooting for the Bengals
Against who?
against the Steelers.
We're not worried about the Steelers at all.
Well, but you don't want them to make the playoffs, don't you?
Do we get a chance? Do we get a chance to play them?
Well, that's our fair.
You got a
I-
point
I-
there.
Fair.
Steelers,
You got a point there.
Steelers or the Dolphins?
Go
Give me
ahead.
the Steelers.
Yeah, good
Today's
point.
Super
Good
Chats.
point.
First one comes from Young Majestic. He said,
Yeah.
5, I don't expect back. G's ballin'. I think he means Anthony Walker by 5.
Yeah.
That was during the
He said he
Shaq
don't.
Leonard conversation.
He said he don't expect Anthony Walker
Speaking
to
of
come
balling,
back.
I asked my son if he knew Dragon Ball Z, and he was like, I know the video game, but he hasn't watched the show.
Dragon Ball Z is a video game.
Yeah.
It is
Go
a video
ahead.
game.
Go ahead,
Next up, Chosen Cartel says, if Watson stays mentally strong, he'll be all right. Young Majestic also says, you guys talk too much about stats. It's only about wins. Quarterbacks adapt to win games. Stats don't matter.
That's not true, but go ahead.
Some
disagree,
stats matter.
but it's okay.
Wins do is very important.
Wins is not only a quarterback stat. Like we say,
That's like
we
the-
say wins only matter when it benefits our narrative.
That's like what's the boy Kenny Pickett? He got 7 game-winning drives. but
Right.
I don't know how many of them is because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, Corey McLaughlin says, 10 days later, butthurt Raven fans are still here. He said that 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corey, and shout out
Hate
to the
that
Raven
term,
fans
butthurt.
who are still here another day later. SCR says, in terms of, I think this is the Ohio State game. He doesn't clarify. I think this is Ohio State, but SCR says, this will be a blowout. We had a linebacker playing running back last year, and there was a lot of finger pointing. Come on, Bull. 2 of those losses are very, very tainted. I think he's talking about Ohio State.
Yeah.
And then last one comes from Colin Keith. Says, Bull, you're out of pocket for taking Wilson over Watson. G, I appreciate you forever being the optimist. Tyvis, I need you to help G get his sneaker game right.
What's funny is that overall, since this show started, I've been the most optimistic about the Browns.
Hey, listen. Hey.
No, not over G.
Oh, yes.
No way.
Because G
G
gets way
predicted them
down
to
on
have
them with every
73
loss.
touchdowns.
He does
G
get
predicted
down
Nick
low.
Chubb to have 40 yards
I know that.
That's a lot. I've been the most optimistic
but G
about
is
the
more
Browns.
extreme. When the Browns lose, he's like, they suck, they're the worst, they're terrible, and then they win, they're
Okay.
the best,
You
they're
do-
the
I
So,
greatest.
do
yeah, the
that.
peaks of optimism,
You
yes.
do that.
I'm the most
G's the highest
optimistic.
peaks.
I'm
You're
more
the most
consistently
real.
optimistic about the Browns.
Hey, and by the way, see.
But I was out of pocket today. Yeah.
You done created a monster. See, here's the thing. I got all kind of Jordans at home. I just don't be wearing them like that. Y'all better leave me alone, man. You try to tell me like I don't got now I'm going home. I got a vendetta.
Yeah.
These Beavis and Buttheads I got on right here. The black joints, these is light. By the way, by statistics, this is fact too. I just ran across this one.
Yeah.
See if you believe it or not. Hold on. I'm in a whole nother place. Damn.
I'm going to the crispy chicken.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, look at these Beavis and Buttheads. Look.
Infrared.
Now look, hey, wherever if there's 23 people in the room, there is 50-50 chance that 2 people have the same birthday. Do you believe
Really?
that?
23 people in the room is a 50.
It's called the birthday paradox.
I don't believe that. Is that true?
That is,
If there's 23 people in the room, there's a 52%
50-50 chance that 2 people have the same
That
birthday.
is stunning to me. I would not have believed that.
It's crazy, right?
Very interesting.
And yeah. So you guys check that out.
Any more super chats, Mike, or are you done?
That is all our Super Chats for the day.
Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
if you go, it'll go a little higher. In a room of 75 people,
Yeah.
there is a 99.9% chance of at least 2 people having the same birthday. Ain't that crazy?
How do they know that?
Just I'll send you the
By the way,
mathematics.
trivia question. What current Cleveland Browns quarterback injured or non-injured, on the Cleveland Browns roster has the most wins at Cleveland Browns Stadium?
I know the answer. It's a great.
Oh, I know
question.
that answer. Joe Flacco.
That's right. I think he's third all time.
He has 9.
He went,
Baker Mayfield holds the record with
19. He needs
And
10
then
more.
Baker barely passed Ben Roethlisberger.
And I just saw this. Deshaun has 8. Flacco has 9 in Brown Stadium.
By the way, don't be surprised if you see Joe Flacco this year.
I hope not. I want DTR to continue to climb up.
DTR. Happy Thanksgiving to
So
everybody,
do I get
man.
credit for
Y'all some
DTR
stuff
too? Because I got credit
If he
for
continues to progress, you will.
yeah.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you.
Make sure you
overtime.
make sure you eat the Thanksgiving food and work out afterwards. Don't let
Turkey
it sit
sucks,
there.
by the way. I'm eating prime rib.